Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Gimmick, the monthly wrestling show here at GeekVerse. I'm the Canadian Nightmare, and I am joined by the one and only, live from the ref cam. Thank
Live
God.
from the ref cam.
Thank God your camera is not the ref cam. I'm joined by David. How are you doing on this Sunday morning?
I'm doing good. A little bit higher quality than the ref cam. Doesn't look like I'm shooting from an iPhone 10 over here, but yeah, just uh, got to catch up on sleep after a long night of wrestling and other stuff. So yeah, it's been good.
Don't pull a Seth and just throw your camera down in the middle of the match. You know, I get they lost the battery pack, but I love that. I was wondering how Manny was, but oh man, I can't wait to talk to this man. He's living his dream. It's gonna happen. The number one, the babyface priest, number one fan, S Bubs. How are you doing? Okay, big title loss, but it did cement the
Yeah,
babyfaceness. So it's a
it was worth it. Yeah,
it was worth the sacrifice. Yeah. So
it was
yeah,
a good match. There's some great moments there that I'm excited to talk about.
yeah, we got Summerslam. So as we said before, mostly it might be a few little stuff at the end. We'll get the draft results if SBub's got that already. But other than that, we're just gonna be talking about SummerSlam because there's some big developments, and we'll talk probably like other green stuff too. If like okay, what happens with the Bloodline next? Bash of Berlin. So there'll be tangential stuff that is kind of attached to it, but we'll do that. So David, I want to start with you. What do you think of, or what did you think of SummerSlam overall? Did you watch all 7 hours? Did you watch the 3 hour pre-show? I certainly
I
did not.
I watched the last 45 minutes of the pre-show. I was
Like
not
three
about
hours.
to
Like what are
engage
they?
in the
Oh my.
whole thing. Only thing like I went back and watched was through X, Twitter, they had posted some of the interviews that they did. Like CM Punk had a good one, but it was like 10 minutes. And I
Yeah,
went
some
back
people
and
say
watched
that
that one.
yeah, they like the like even though it's too long, the pre-show they did a lot of interviews in like different ways. Like some people up to like going to the desk or like interviewing backstage or the pre-taped interviews. So it wasn't just like the same stuff like video package. Like they were doing it in some different ways.
It very much reminds me of ESPN College Game Day, the
A
way that
hundred
they did
percent. They're doing it
this.
very. It's getting very sports oriented now. With the when the whatever show starts, showing the people in the parking lot like walk up, like that's the same thing. Like in football, they do that all the time. The like after the because the press conference now used to be like half an hour. That thing is like an hour and a half now
I
because it's
think
in.
just Triple H talked for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I turned it off once he showed up because I know he was gonna go a while, but I watched the rest of it.
I think that I watched it because I'll watch it for like bigger ones. But last night was like I'm done watching the post show because it's way too long and it's just like and it's weird because it's a mix of people kind of out of kayfabe, but then they're right into kayfabe. Like you get an interview where it's just like oh I'm the best,
Yeah.
but
It
because it's
just
weird
kind of
because
depends on like what people ask them.
yes.
Like Nia and Tiffany would have like one about like I don't know like destroying Bailey, and then the next question would be like how they met and how they're like best friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And
So it just
see that
depends on what people ask them.
I think I'm fine. That it's the mix of you got the press conference, you got them being interviewed backstage, and then you got them on like the panel with like Barrett and Jackie. So it's like a weird mix of like there's a mix of kayfabe and real, there's just super kayfabe. So it's just too long. They got more ads in there. I like some of the stuff Braun could be saying on Raw. So I think for me, I'm gonna let the Twitter Al whatever
Yeah.
people
I
just
just
tell
watch it
me.
because it just like auto plays into it,
Yes,
and then I'll
yeah.
just watch it
Yeah.
for like I watched yesterday. Like my uncle came over and we were watching it like with my dad and stuff, and like it just went to like I wasn't gonna say anything until they said like okay let's turn it off, and I was like we were just sitting watching the press conference for like 45 minutes because they didn't say anything, and I wasn't gonna turn it off.
But yeah, how was the actual show for you, David? If you had like an overall grade of the SummerSlam, also we'll go match by match, but the overall grade of the whole show.
Overall grade, I'd probably give it a B minus.
B minus.
There,
Okay.
there were some very high highs, but there were also some moments where you're just like, all right, let's.
You didn't need Jelly Roll for 15 minutes,
I
interacting with.
I didn't need the jelly roll segment. Like I was happy for Miz and R-Truth to be on the show, but I was less happy for Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll must have something over Triple H. Triple H is a big fan of him, and that guy got like 3 segments last night.
He's gonna be 2K25 DLC. Like
100%. Yeah, if they still had that 24/7 championship, that would be Jelly
he
Roll.
won.
Yeah.
Dave,
before you can,
they have the golden title, like Snoop Dogg's golden title.
they do. Dave. Before you continue, I gotta ask this question because I'm gonna easily forget about it. I know you're the #1 babyface Priest fan. How you feeling about Austin Theory these days? Because this man is getting jobbed out. This man, like, do you think like? What's the trajectory?
He can only have one face turn at a time. Now he needs the 6-month build up.
Yeah, like, do you think there's like a way that he's gonna babyface and be like uber over and popular? Like, I feel like it's just gonna turn, nothing's gonna happen.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with like the Otis thing. How they just like kind of stop that, but then anytime he does have like an interaction with Gable or like pushes him, the crowd is like still there for
They're
it.
fired up.
But I don't think like Theory and like the Waller thing was ever as hot as like the Gable and Otis thing. And and Otis is probably more likable than Theory in all honesty. So I don't know with Theory. Like, they might just have them like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going.
It's gonna be him and Jelly Roll versus Grayson Waller and like someone else. Which again, another weird thing was like Machine Gun Kelly heel later on. Oh look, the Theory's calling him right now. He didn't like he didn't support me, but Dave,
like, put me over, pal.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Back to continue. So B minus, you were saying?
B minus. Yeah, there were some matches that were like super good, and then some I was like, oh, we can wrap this up a little bit. I felt like there was going to be more with the Seth special referee. He did more of just like the sitting on the rope spots and the, hey, I'm here, guys, don't forget I'm in charge type deal. Yeah, it played into the ending, but during the match, like, them constantly cutting to him just like, oh, I'm not paying attention, got a little bit overboard and kind of took away from the Drew and Punk aspect of it. And then like the women's match was a little bit shorter than I predicted it would be. I'm happy for Nia Jax's match though, because I wanted her to walk out the winner. I want to see her being the big bad. She's still wearing the queen crown and
which
showing
is fine.
off there.
She doesn't have no cape. She doesn't have no stuff. This is the right amount. Where Gunther, he sometimes even forget. They tried to do the whole king ring general, but I feel like they're just going back to the ring general. Like, I feel like
he only had the crown like the Raw after, and then he never used it again.
And the king name's like 50% when they use it. And I feel like he's even forgetting. Now he's world champ. Like, he doesn't need to be the Brock didn't go around call himself like King Brock Lesnar. Like, it was fine for a month.
And I noticed like when they did the ring announcement, they did it like the Royal Rumble winner. They're like the King of the Ring winner.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's why they got in here.
And I
think it made sense for them to both win it because they're like, this is like establishing that like new title shot that they're going to be adding. So,
and it's a worthy thing to win because you get to call your shot, and it's like the second biggest show. So
yeah, the LA Knight Logan Paul match really did nothing for me. Now,
the
same match as always. With we'll get there. Yeah.
Now,
I thought LA Knight did do really great. I thought he looked
good.
A lot of cool stuff.
He looked good. It was a normal match for those two. Like, there was nothing special or memorable. Now,
what about when LA Knight almost killed him on that fucking suplex up top?
That was a memorable
the brain buster off the top rope.
I legitimately thought Paul's neck was going to be done after that. I was so. Yeah,
I was waiting the whole time though for Kevin Owens to come out and powerbomb Machine Gun Kelly. I was really, really hoping that happened. And that just is my pure disdain for Machine Gun Kelly. So I was like, please let someone go through a table. And I felt that the Braun and Sammy match was good. It just could have been. I thought that they were going to do more of a dominant Braun than they did, and so I think a more dominant caught you off guard. Not necessarily I'm the better wrestler, but just my power caught you off guard type deal would have been a better suit for where they're going with Braun. But I also understand that, okay, he went toe to toe with Gunther, so now he's got to go toe to toe with Braun. He's got to still be tough in defeat. So, yeah, that's why I land on B minus.
Yeah. What about you, Espos? How was SummerSlam?
I'd probably go like a B plus. I don't know if like a fully A, but I agree with most of what David said. I think I did enjoy it overall probably more than him. So that's why I'd give it like a slightly above. It's like I agree with the criticisms, but I think I still enjoyed probably all of it in general. I thought it was a fun time. I think my favorite match was probably like it's hard between like I think between Gunther, Priest, and Rhea and Liv, because I do really like those like just like hard hitting matches. Like I think probably my favorite match of all time is like that WrestleMania 39 triple threat with Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther. So it's just another one of those matches where they're just like non-stop hitting each other the whole time. And then the Rhea Liv one was just, I thought that one was great too. The whole shoulder stuff, I thought, which I saw some people didn't like. Like, I saw people saying, like, oh, match was a 10 out of 10, but the shoulder stuff was weird. I didn't like it. And I was like,
People,
I
for
thought
some
that was
reason,
great
never
stuff.
like that. It's weird. Like, it's rare. It's weird that they watch professional wrestling and it's like all scripted. But when anyone's like trying to act like they're like popping their shoulder back, then like, oh, I don't know about that. That's too far for me. It's like I'm always fine with it for the most part, which I feel like it's becoming more common the past 2 years of the shoulder spot. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the show. I think, like, solo Cody, I didn't really like that much. Like, I thought it was, for the most part, just, like, an okay match. And, like, it was all for the Roman return.
Yeah.
And now it was all for the Glock Anderson return.
Yeah, that was a good pop. I'm ready to draft him next go round. He's gonna take a run. Him and Cody take champs. You know.
And the thing with Pharaoh was nice too, with him walking to the ring and stuff. But yeah, I thought Solo Cody was a fine match. Even with like the Bloodline rules, they didn't really like. It was just like no countouts pretty much.
Yeah.
And like the stairs.
It was AW rules almost.
Yeah.
Like they did like WrestleMania felt like they used a lot more weapons.
Match. That was the AW.
He's the AW referee there, just like I don't know what to do.
It's like there's no counts, but then when he tries to use the chair, it's like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that's too far. And we'll get there. Yeah, I think I'm kind of right where you guys then. Like I'm a solid B on it. I think it started off hot with Liv and Rhea. I think there's some moments that kind of under delivered. I wait till the main event, but I think I enjoy. I was fine with the main event. I just was like that. We'll get there, but the best way I put in the Discord, it's what I'm always going to worry that Secret Wars is going to be to Endgame, where it felt like they were just doing Endgame again. They were doing WrestleMania, but it felt like lesser than because Randy and KO were there at Mania. They could have also ran out, but it's like they're like, no, we got John Cena and Undertaker, so you guys sit back. So this is like, well, they're not coming out to Cleveland for SummerSlam, so you guys, and it just wasn't the same type of vibe. I wish there was. We'll wait till we get there. So I think that's the thing where a lot of the big moments I was waiting for, that even Punk and Drew that kind of under-delivered a bit. Even stuff with Damian and Gunther I think were good, but there's one spot in the match that like really bugged me. So I think the other thing though I was waiting for is I don't think we got like a match of the year candidate. And I feel like SummerSlam WrestleMania should always have one of those. I'm not saying it has to be like when people compare the shows and everything. Not saying that, but there should be one where it's okay. Maybe the show was all right, but this match elevates it. I think there's lots of matches like I think Rhea and Liv have really good chemistry, but that was a more story-based one with Dom, right? So you're never going to get that 5-star wrestling classic. And again, I think it would have been Punk and Drew. We'll wait till the match. It's like what I said last episode. I think Seth actually really did take away from this. I think they could have ran this back with Seth. I think there was just issues, but I have a lot of little issues that kept it not a bad show. It was an easy watchable show. I think it was, other than some jelly roll and some advertising. I think like the Manscaped ad, that was, thank goodness, like that was a bathroom break for me. That was just like a weird.
That was so weird.
I did feel like the show moved pretty quickly though.
Yes.
I feel like compared to like Money in the Bank, I felt like it would be like I feel like that had like more ads and video
Match and then like
packages
10
stuff.
minutes in between of like
Yeah, this
I
is
ha-
like this is
yeah.
like a match. You'd get like one video, maybe like you'd get like the story of the match video
Yes.
package, and then you'd get the match.
Because the shit
Maybe
I hate.
maybe with having like stuff in the ring, it's like that's your advertisement
Yeah.
for today. Like you don't get to put a video since you're
Yeah,
putting it on
which
the
they
ring.
had a lot of every match was sponsored by something, so I'm sure they made like a ton of advertising money, and I'm fine with all that stuff. It's the videos I hate when they're like, "Let's show you a video, Jey Uso," and it's just like he's not wrestling or anything. It's just those videos where it just shows like the last year of his career, and they do that all the time. It's like, why am I
Didn't see
getting
that one.
this?
Maybe that's like I think I went to the bathroom
No, no,
between
no. I'm
like
saying
every
they
match.
didn't do that, but sometimes they've been doing that a lot. Yeah, they didn't do that, but they'll just be like,
Yeah, no, the
"Oh,
Money in the Bank one had like so many. They had like top 10 Pat McAfee.
yeah." It was
moments.
like, we don't need this. Like, I get it. That's what the pre-show's for, and whatever. But so yeah, overall, I think it was a good show. I think it moved fast. I don't think there was anything. That's the other thing. The reverse. There was nothing all-time bad on here either. I don't think there was like, oh man, this really stunk up the joint. I just think for the second biggest show of the year, it didn't deliver on that. But it's still a good show, and I think we got some good stuff with Bash and
Yeah,
Bad
I
Blood
feel
Survivor
like
Series.
with they're saying like match of the year candidate stuff, I feel like that could come from like Bash and Berlin /
Yeah.
Bad Blood. Might get some of that stuff moved to there.
hmm So the show started off with Liv and Rhea. I think it went well. I'm gonna go Dave first because I thought we were all in the bandwagon of Liv winning, but then I see David's chart they posted on Twitter, tagged us in yesterday. Some wild picks, by the way. When I was looking at this, like, oh my goodness, Why did you think Rhea was winning it back? And then what did you think of the actual match?
So I went back and forth on these two a lot, and I was like, all right, how is this going to be the time? And then when it was originally announced, hey, she's coming back, this is the match they're doing, I'm like, okay, I could see Liv winning. But then they did all this stuff with Dom and her licking the side of his face and everything else, and I was like, okay, maybe they're not. And so I was like, maybe this is going to be a good time to push Rhea back as the leader of the Judgment Day. And then they went with the Dom screwing her over and things like that.
Yeah,
I
not
thought
even the ambiguous, the full on.
I thought if she did lose, it was going to be an accidental, like he was trying to
Yes.
help her, but then Liv got the help, and then you were like, was that on purpose? Was that no?
Exactly,
They
yeah.
dove fully into it right out the gate, just blew my mind. I'm like, oh, we're going for this now. Okay, yeah, I did
Another
not expect
kiss.
4 title changes on this show.
Yeah, big error there. Poor Dom's wife just having to watch Dom make out with all these hot women every month. Like, who's it gonna be next? Like, my God.
Yeah.
But
And I posted on Twitter. I was like, "Yeah, I can see how it is. Do you want the 10 out of 10 hot goth girl, or do you want the 10 out of 10 crazy blonde who brought you a PlayStation and unlimited nuggies?" Like,
nuggets. How does one acquire unlimited nuggets? Like, how
I
is
saw
that?
someone like research where the nuggets are from. So I was saying that was like a Wendy's 100 nuggets box.
They should. The fact that they haven't done enough sponsor, the next Dom match should be by Wendy's or something. It'd be all about nuggets and have a tray of nuggets. Have Rhea hit him with the nuggets. Like, there's tons of stuff you can do.
I'm
Now
just
I
glad
wonder
it's
if they're like, cause like if Liv and Dom are gonna have like their own like mini Judgment Day clubhouse, cause they had that one segment with Dom where he was trying to get Rhea back, that he had like his own like locker room or something, or like Rhea's locker room or something. Maybe that's like the champions locker room or something. So I wonder if they'll do that, because I don't think the Judgment Day is gonna have their hangout.
The
place
clubhouse,
anymore.
which
Yeah.
I love every week. Like, it was last week when Liv ruined the clubhouse. It's like, dudes, you move it every week. It's like, I love sometimes
I
nobody
mean,
makes
I
it seems
guess
like
I guess they carry the same stuff over.
they do, but it's just
if you,
like
paint it over it.
you can get new stuff and then move it. Like, sometimes they act like WWE always takes place in the same spot all the time. Just like, oh, what are we gonna do about this? Like, I don't know, throw it out and ask production to bring you new stuff, But yeah.
I'm just glad this isn't in the Vince McMahon era, because if it was, with all this talk about nuggets and stuff, sometime during this feud, someone would have dropped some sauce on them from the rafters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, what do you think about this match?
I really liked it. I
Mhm.
thought it was great stuff. I thought, yeah, like I said before, the shoulder thing I thought worked really well. I called like the Dom putting the chair in the ring, and
Mhm.
like I thought that was what was gonna happen. Yeah, I do feel like I get why it went that way, but it definitely could have gone longer. Though I think probably they are gonna have another match, so
Yeah, they're
that's where
saving
they're
some.
saving it. I thought Rhea selling like how she always does. Like you'll say like she sells the DDT like the best at everyone because
Yeah,
she
that
like
flip.
completely flips over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she also did that same so like it for the Oblivion. It worked so well because she like flipped like because Liv like falls backwards, so she like flips so quickly that by the time Liv was falling, she did like the sweet chin music pin where she like falls backwards on
Yeah.
top of her.
Yeah.
So that worked really well.
She's good at taking that move because a lot of people take that move like shit. Like the
Yeah,
Oblivion's one.
they like pretty much no sell it.
Yeah, like
Cause really that move you don't get like any height. Cause
no, you just
have
you're
to
just
like
falling
fall.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like so many times it looks so like it's a creative finish, so I do like it. I wish you'd kind of get a like a double finish, like another one to hit that's faster,
Yeah.
even if it's a submission. But yeah, because it's but Rhea makes it look. It's also
I'm
because
pretty sure
Rhea's
it's
taller
really
too.
protected too. I think Rhea might be like one of the first people to kick out of it because
Yeah.
people just like either like foot on the ropes or roll out of the like. I think Becky has rolled out of the ring on the Oblivion like 5
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. No, I agree. I really like the match. I like there's a couple matches on here that had particular stories, and I was a fan of the first 5 minutes was just Liv running away. I know some people might get annoyed by that, but it's like that fits the story.
Yeah. And it was
to,
really like faked her out with it rolling.
yeah, I love that when they roll in,
in.
and then Rhea's she's so good at her facials and her acting and stuff. I'm really interested to see if she like tries to transition into like some acting roles in the future. But I liked that because it fit everything, and then Liv got dominated for the next 5 minutes. So it's a 17-minute match, but it's like really the first 10 minutes is all Rhea, and then the shoulders. There's the injury. I think they did enough good stuff with Dom to show okay which way is he gonna go because he pushed Rhea out of the way. When he stops Rhea with the chair, it would make sense, right? And I liked that when the twist happened, it was that Liv didn't know. So I'm wondering what they're gonna do. Did Dom know that whole time he was gonna turn, or was it like a in the moment of like, no, I'm gonna pick Liv, and that's where it's like I almost would prefer it that way because it could be like, oh yeah, he saved Rhea, but then he's like, no, you know what, I do want to go with her, but I like that Liv didn't know. I like it wasn't just a big con. I like that she was surprised by it, and it was a good moment at the end. I think Rhea sold that good too, and I think it sets up for a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think they got good chemistry. I think Liv's always like a good to decent wrestler. I don't think you're ever gonna get her having the match of the year, but with the right opponent, she can have some good stuff. And I think Rhea and her is a good opponent because Rhea can toss her around, and Liv can play like the bratty little heel that takes cheap shots and everything. So I want more. I know it's probably happening at Bad Blood, but I still would prefer. I've said this before. I think there's a whole WrestleMania's worth of season to get there. Like I know it's a long time because that's what September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's
And like
that's
end of April too.
yeah,
'Cause
that's like
now WrestleMania is
7-8
soon.
months. But I just feel like with the Judgment Day breaking up, with Rhea versus Dom, and then Royal Rumble, because I just don't know that what's the trajectory that they space it out to Bad Blood. Rhea gets the win, and I just don't know with Rhea as a babyface. We always predicted like, oh, they'll do her and Bianca. I don't think now's the time because Rhea and Bianca are both faces now, and I just don't think it would be natural unless they're gonna do just the who's the face of the WWE. So I don't know what the trajectory. I'm excited for the feud. I'm not worried about it. I think there's gonna be some good stuff, and like I said, I still hope they do Rhea and Dom. I know they'll probably just do an intergender match, but I think there is tons
so
of
you
money.
think you like Bastion Berlin? It is Rhea and Jay versus Dom and Liv.
Is it Jay or Damien? That's always the tough thing, right?
Well, I think It'll probably be Damien Finn, right?
Right. Some people have said they might, because here's the other thing. I know we're jumping forward, and maybe we'll just talk about them together. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, they're going to run back Damien and Gunther for Bash of Berlin, but I don't think that, because if they're trying to make, bit Damien number one babyface,
Yeah.
I don't like he'll just get booed, then the other option I've seen is Drew, but I don't want that because I don't want to Drew's lost enough recently for the world title, even though I actually don't know.
Having squash Gunther like at Berlin.
Yeah,
and
Claymore out the
title.
Claymore, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and he Claymores him, gets the pin. That's it. But like, that's the only problem with Drew now. I really don't know when he's going to get a world title because I don't think Cody's dropping that for another year, and Gunther's not dropping it for a while. So now Drew's just kind of like, I think he's just kind of stuck now. Like, I don't like. I think I'm still surprised Gunther has it as early as he does. But to back to Liv and Rhea. Do you guys think it ends at Bad Blood? Do you think it goes further? What's the trajectory of this feud now?
I think it ends at Bad Blood.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to wrap it up
Cell match
pretty nicely, and
think,
everyone goes their own way.
I think
It's gotta be a
probably
cell,
two
right?
Cell matches.
They could be the cell match, yeah.
Yeah.
They could be the women's cell match. I could definitely see that because you can do a lot with Dom being stuck on the outside and trying to get in and trying to help out and all this other stuff. Or
Dom better get some color. Yeah, throw Dom off the somehow have Dom and Liv holding each other, and she pushes them both. But no, Dom better get color for Hell in a Cell if he's in there. Rhea better mess him up. So.
Oh yeah, see, and again, that's the perfect opportunity if you're gonna do a top
and that
of
way
the
you
cell
can get,
spot.
pretty much like 2-on-1 handicap in the and that's where you probably get her like rip tiding Dom at some point in the cell match.
Yeah. And I can see that image. I guarantee you, in my opinion, if they do Hell in a Cell with those two, Rhea will bleed, and I can see the image of her holding up the title, standing over them, bloody. Like I can, because she's the Eradicator and brutal. Like I can see them doing that, and so then Bash and maybe it is Jay. I do think Dom and Liv win the mixed tag though by hook or crook some way, because I think there's gonna be like, I guess, a longer term thing. So I think that they win, and then Bad Blood, and then what do you guys think? Like. Then what do you do with she's champion again, going to Mania season? God forbid, don't make it Charlotte again. I love Charlotte, but I don't need Charlotte and Rhea, thrice in a lifetime. What is your guys' pitch for what do you do with Rhea WrestleMania season? I know it's long term out, but I like throwing that out there before we get a roadmap.
I think that's the time that you go for crowning someone new. You still have time to build somebody up.
Is like they could call up probably Roxanne Perez by that point. I think they had one match in NXT, so when Rio did that run last year.
Is Roxanne versus Rhea at WrestleMania though gonna be is that gonna be marquee enough though? I don't know if it is.
No, you have to go. In my opinion, you have to go off of whoever wins the Women's Royal Rumble. That's who you go with in that case, and. Then I wonder if you do a brand swap at that point and maybe have someone like Jade come over or Bianca Belair come over. Like both of those would be marquee championship matches. You could have Bianca go after the Women's Championship after winning the Royal Rumble, and you can have Jade go after the SmackDown Women's Championship.
You don't think they're going to do Jade and Bianca?
I don't think they're going to do Jade and Bianca yet.
Really?
I think they may hold off just a little bit longer.
I was also trying to rack my brain if there's any women in AEW's contract expiring anytime soon. I was just trying to think of any big match jump. Hey, Britt gets in a little more trouble, makes the jump over. No. Now I talked myself out, but now Rhea and Bianca. I imagine they'll just paint it, I guess, as who's the best. I actually would like to see Bianca go back to being a heel for a bit. She was really good in NXT. I don't know if they will, because I feel like she kind of has the Cena treatment where they really like her to be idol to young girls.
To turn her heel, that would be at WrestleMania to beat Rhea. That would be the moment if you're ever gonna do it.
Yeah.
And see, I don't know if I want that, because I would want them to close the show. So I'd want it just to be a clean one way or the other finish. And maybe
really
just do Taker HBK. You just do babyface, who's the best, and go from that way.
There's no real strong women on the Raw roster currently. You have Asuka, who's injured.
I was gonna say Io, Rhea.
I think that's gonna happen, but I don't know if it'd happen at Mania. I think that's a Rumble That's like a Rumble match, or even Survivor. Well, I guess I could do War Games again. See, that's why I'd love Liv and Rhea to go longer, because I'd love to see like Team Rhea versus Team Liv.
Who would be on that like War Games team this year? Or like for women's War Games specifically, because men's is probably Bloodline.
Yeah, I hope it's not just like Damage Control versus like the whatever they're calling what's Sonya? Yeah, whatever. Everyone just calls them something Shield. I'm not gonna say what they say on Twitter, but you know what it is. Like I'll say Scissor Shield is what they call them, and just like I don't think they're strong enough. So like to me, like Team Liv, because like I don't think anything on SmackDown can support the War Games. Nia's just gonna go like beat a bunch of people, cool, and that's where I think with like I would like it that Liv somehow beats her Bad Blood. Maybe they don't do Hell in the Cell, and they do War Games, and then you get Rhea to Royal Rumble. Like I would like, and Triple H loves his long stories. Like I would prefer that, but if it's not that, it's Rhea versus somebody. Maybe it is just Rhea versus Damage Control, and they flip them back, and that's leading to Io and Rhea, and maybe Io like gets a win at War Games, so you can build up to like, okay, but like, because clearly that's not going to be the closing War Games, right? That's going to be the first match. It's going to be the whatever they do, Bloodline. So I think you could see Rhea's team lose, or Rhea eat a pin there and set something up. So it could be, and then Asuka's coming back eventually, right? So yeah, it's probably gonna be Rhea versus somebody, but that's my pitch. Is I'd like it Team Liv, and then you can have a bunch of people that like, I don't know, she finds that don't like Rhea or have been screwed over by Rhea. I don't know. So
I just think that Raw needs to build up its women's roster really soon, because there's a big drop off after you get past Rhea and Liv. There's a big drop off.
And Io, I put Io up there too.
I think the ranking right now in terms of like people they push is like Rhea, Liv, Io, and like Lyra.
They're trying with Lyra. Yeah, they're trying, but they got to get her out of this stupid six woman tag with like Caden and like that's not going to get you. That's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah, that's just like
that team doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know why Lyra's dancing in the ring with these party girls. Like, it doesn't make sense.
That's not the way. They should just be like heating her up with wins. Maybe there's more NXT call-ups. I don't know. Maybe there's something like that. So we'll revisit that. But it's interesting, because that's why I don't think there's like a clear path in which way they're going. Because I think Io and Rhea happens. Because even then, let's say it's not Rhea, I don't even know who Liv goes next. I guess might be Lyra if they want to like space some time out between her and Rhea. But that's why I feel like maybe you could even do I wonder if there is a Hell in a Cell chance and Liv still wins that somehow. Like I don't know how they would do that, because that would just be the SummerSlam finish again. It would be them screwing her over, but I really don't know. So it's a good problem to have that there's lots of routes they can go. So anything else on Liv and Rhea specifically?
No, the background footage after the match is amazing. Like if someone hasn't seen it, go to Twitter or go to WWE's YouTube and see it. Just the reaction and emotion out of Rhea walking back through that curtain afterwards is just some spot on from her.
Like I said, I think she's gonna start acting in the next couple of years. She's got a lot of range, so I think and like I said, I'm very excited for the cat and mouse game of Rhea trying to get her hands on Dom. I think there's just tons of great TV there. So they at least got 2 to 3 months, I think, of quality stuff they can do, and even the Judgment Day stuff, which maybe we'll just talk about now because that's tied in with it. Judgment Day. Do you guys think? I'll start with the Bubs, because I see a lot of people say, "Oh, Judgment Day, it's over. What a run!" Is Judgment Day over, or is it a new version of it? Because I took it that it's gonna be a new version.
I was thinking more like they like kicked Rhea and Damian out. Like I don't think it's like fully over.
Because I've seen like What a Run and the air dates.
I think with the What a Run it is valid, because it's like they were like the group for the longest time.
Yeah. But hey, don't forget about Edge. Edge was in there.
The story now is like this new Judgment Day is all people who weren't Edge, Rhea, and Damian.
Yeah, they're not the OG group.
Completely new people.
And even Dom, then, like
Finn, JD, Carlito's still in there.
I love Carlito's the MVP on Raw nowadays. Like, and I love that. Obviously, it's like they're not gonna tie it in because it's from AEW. But I love Edge's like second night in when he's talking to Christian, and he's saying like, oh, why I had to turn because like this group's gonna use you, take all your knowledge, and kick you out. And I like that's almost like the Judgment Day motto, like, hey. Edge formed the group. They used him, kicked him out. They brought in all these people, like Rhea and Damien. They used them. Okay, now kick them. Like I kind of like the Judgment Day is like this kind of cannibal type of group that when you're not good enough for the group or we don't need you anymore, we kick you. And that's why the second the Dom when he fully turned, I knew Finn, which I'm so happy. You guys were trying to convince, like you're scaring me about Damien getting a win over Gunther. Gunther cannot lose to Damien Priest. Gunther needs to go in for a while. It is a little bit of
scared on the near fall at when Finn was gonna put his foot on the ropes.
No, I never was. Cause the second Dom did the hard turn, I knew Finn was also doing the hard turn. If it was the slid in the chair and oh no, what did he mean to do? Then I thought okay. Damien could find a way. They do it at Bash, but once it was a hard turn, like okay, they're doing like an evolution. They're kicking everybody out here, and I thought they had a good. I think Damien came out like big in this match for a long, like for his last defense. I think he came up there, and lots of times he was just beating the shit out of Gunther. Like Gunther was on the ground, like looking up. Poor Gunther. His like they should have done it the week before on Monday. His chest was still tattered and bruised from Finn.
I remember on Monday people were saying like, "This is crazy doing this like before."
Yeah, and then the poor guy's getting them recut open. Like his like, please don't let him wrestle for like at least 2 weeks because I was like, his chest is looking real bad. But I thought they had a great spot there. I was 50% on one spot where I loved Finn puts the leg on the rope and Damien sees it on the monitor. Love that because people don't do that. So they made him a smart babyface. But then the next move they made him dumb where Gunther kicks out. And what does Damien do instead of going back on Gunther? He runs over to Finn and grabs his pulse. Like, why would you do that?
That was a great moment though. Like with him, like he's about to pass out, and then he revives himself to get out of the choke.
Yes, that was good. Yeah, that when he got out of there. So there's all good stuff. I just wish he didn't do the Finn grab because it's just like you could get him at any point. Like, don't like you're gonna lose your title here, bro. But I think it was a good showing, and I think. If he cannot stay over as a babyface now, this is his fault. He needs to just obviously work on the promos, but I think they made him sympathetic. They made him fighting champion. His friend turned on him. I think this is a good setup for, okay, people to like Damien. Now it's, to me, I think it's up to him because he gets 3 months with Finn.
Now you got the Jay, Damien, Sammy new faction on Raw.
Yeah, with Rhea. I don't know what they're gonna call themselves, the Yeet Day or whatever. But yeah, I can see them selling the Yeet shirts in purple. You know what's gonna happen.
We already know Triple H listens to you. Let's not give him any ideas.
Rey Mysterio had a Yeet themed gear. He had a dark match teaming with Jay, and he had like a Yeet shirt on with the blue mask and blue boots
nice
and everything. So he was matching
that.
with this. I think it was a tag match. I don't know who it was. It was like the Judgment Day versus. It was like four. So I don't know who was on that team. It was like Jay, Rey Mysterio, like 2 other people. I have to look it up now.
But either way, I'm just happy Gunther got the win. I was very scared. This is the start. He's gonna have this title at least for a year. This guy, like I know people joke he's gonna beat Bruno's record. I don't think he's gonna beat Bruno's records, but I think he's gonna have this for a while. So yeah, David
Cena might take this title from him.
Yeah, and they said in that people pointed on the backstage interview with his title, there was the Cena bus behind him. I guess, you know what, you could, because I could see them do a thing where Cena beats him, and Gunther could literally just beat him the month after and take it right back, you know? So, we could, but yeah, David, what do you think?
Have that WrestleMania, like, the fans powered Cena up
enough
to... Like the WrestleMania energy powered him up to beat Gunther, and then at some other point he loses it. But
because I'm all down for Cena 17, I'm down for it, and then Gunther maybe wins it back or Drew. But what do you think, David, about Gunther, new World Heavyweight Champion? Finn turns on Damien and the match overall.
I think Gunther's going to rock that belt for a nice long time. I mean, they kept mentioning his long reign as the Intercontinental Champion, so they're going to set him up for just being a dominant champion, and that's going to be part of his shtick. I'm the ring general. I held the NXT UK belt for so long. I held the Intercontinental belt for so long. I'm not letting go of this. If Super Cena is going to get 17 off of a belt, I would rather it be this than the main WWE title, because I don't want that to just be a throwaway in that storyline because there's so much going on over there. Like, you can't beat Cody, and then you can't be the one who comes back and beats Roman or whoever else is holding the title. So, yeah, if he's going to do it, then a quick drop and come back for Gunther with that, I'd be fine with that. But I'm excited to see Gunther as champion. I'm excited to see that entrance with his ring jacket and the pose, and he has the belt just in there. Like, I'm here for all of that.
Here for the aura, the Gunther Worldwide Champion aura.
Yeah. As far as Priest goes and where he goes from here, there's going to be some feuding with the Judgment Day. There's going to be the whole who's in charge now, where do we go from here, like who can I trust type deal. I think that they are going to have a match, him and Finn, and then Finn's probably going to go after Gunther's title.
Really?
Yeah. I think this is a good time to put Finn back in the main event scene.
I wonder if you could write Damien off TV, and I wonder if Finn could get the match at Bash, because he is a heel. They had the match on Monday, which obviously he lost, but I wonder if he could be the option, and Damien kind of pulls a Punk and screws him over there, because the only problem is, I think Finn and Gunther could happen, but would it happen down the line when Gunther, he's going to be a heel champion, right? So I just don't know if they're going to heat Finn up to be a babyface anytime soon. So I could see it at Bash, actually. It might be a little hot-shotted, but...
I mean, it's too soon to put Jay in that role against Gunther because, again, for the guy whose name is Main Event Jay, you keep losing in the damn main event.
He doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to win. He just got to be in the main event,
But I don't need you losing another championship match, like, right out the gate. Like, at some point, that aura goes away when they keep putting you in championship matches and you keep losing in championship matches.
Well, and Jay's going to be busy with Bloodline stuff, right? Like, I feel like I think he actually has three options. I think he's going to team with Rhea. I legitimately think that him and Sammy are going to win those team titles probably pretty soon. They've already beat the tag champs, so I think Sammy's going to need something to do. And then after that's Bloodline. So I think Jay's, like, next 3 to 5 months are planned out that you don't have to do him and Gunther. I think him and Gunther could be like a potential Rumble program. They could, even if it's not Cena, I could even see them do that at Mania just to get the whole yeet and he's going for the championship. But I think maybe he's the guy to beat Braun, as weird as it sounds. But I think like that could be a guy. But I don't know. There's also a chance that the Usos just get back together and they're a tag team, right? You never know. So I don't think he's going to go to Gunther. Yeah, I don't think, at least until Rumble, I'll say. I think he'll stay clear from that because at Survivor Series, he'll clearly probably be on Team Roman. And as people point out, Roman's a free agent, so he can go show to show. So I can't wait to see the pitch there. But, what do you think, S-Bubs, for showing of a Damian Priest? He's set up for success here? He's going to be like, or is he just going to be in the fucking Andre Giant Battle Royal come time WrestleMania? You know, like that's the trajectory I could see him. He's there with the trophy and he's El Battle Royal or whatever, you know?
No, I think this was really good. I think this run really helped them, despite like the start of it, people thinking like it wouldn't. I think at the time maybe he wasn't like the credible champion, but I think the defenses and the whole story of him like wanting to win without like the Judgment Day just interfering in all his matches, which kind of goes around he lost because of Judgment Day interference in the end. I think that really worked, and I think he's a great wrestler, and like I think just it's good to have just like another guy who can just like kind of go toe to toe with Gunther, just like in terms of like power level, I guess.
And height, he's like taller than Gunther too, so it's like he like, not that Gunther looks small, but it's not usually Gunther's towering over people, right?
I think one of the calls from Cole was like, you never see Gunther flying around like that, like when Priest is just like throwing around Gunther, and like he does that Hurricane Rana now, which is like crazy for his height. But
I was surprised when Gunther, when they were setting up, I'm like, how's Gunther gonna take this? And he did it. I know it's just a
like
somersault,
over,
but it wasn't like a fancy. It was just like a fall down. I was like, Gunther doesn't usually take stuff like that, but he did.
I was
Gunther gave
thinking
a
like,
lot.
yeah, like when does Gunther take like bumps or
A Hurricane Rana,
Yeah.
poison. Yeah, next season taking poison Ranas from somebody, but yeah. So we'll see. I think we're still okay. So I'm gonna say Finn at Bash. That's what I'm going with. Who do you guys think for Gunther at Bash?
Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Finn.
Do a classic battle royale, and he just gets the win because like he did just like Gunther just beat him on Monday,
I
right?
could
So
see them. They
you
could
know.
do like #1 contender match probably.
They could do those.
Like-
They love doing those like series of fatal fours or triple threats, right? When they do like 3 triple threats and then it's a triple threat. That's a Triple H. Like I feel like he doesn't want to always do tourneys because like TK gets like memed on for always do another tournaments. I think Triple H is like, well, I like mini tournaments. You know, I'm not doing a full tournament, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of like qualifier matches.
Yeah.
But I think if you took those and put them into a bracket, it would pretty much be a tournament.
It's a
But
tournament without a
he
bracket.
puts the 3 people in there so it doesn't look like
Yes.
a tournament.
yeah, it's something a little bit different. So, yeah, we'll see. After going back to the beginning of the show, we had Braun versus Sami Zayn. You know, I hate this. I hate that those because that report came out because it was like a thing, right? And I can't remember who put it out. There was one of the more credible people. It was like, well, the idea is Triple H just didn't want, or you know, creative, whatever. I'll just say creative. Didn't want Braun to win at Money in the Bank because they want to win on a big show. Then just fucking wait to the big show. Then just they should have last month just gave us like Sammy versus Dragunov. Have a good match. Sammy wins it. I didn't mind the story of okay, Braun didn't take him seriously. Here we go. But I just it was just odd. So I do think at Bash, I think they're gonna do the trilogy. I think Braun they'll do a longer match this time and Braun will win this. But I also just had problems with the match psychology-wise where if you're going to do, which I did not like, the match was 5 minutes and 40 seconds, if you're going to do that, have Braun just kill him right away. So the fact that Braun goes for a spear to begin the match and he hits the post, and I don't know what was happening. Rhea, Nia, Braun, I think there's no one. Too many, no one talked like, hey, what body part you selling tonight? Like, that's an agent's job. There's 3 matches where all of them like, oh, my shoulder. So to me, Braun hits that shoulder. He's selling it for the half the match, which is 2 minutes. And then he hits Sammy with 2 spears on that shoulder. So it makes no sense. In the match where he's supposed to dominate Sammy, don't have him with an injured shoulder because, like, that should be, oh, this is why Sammy's kicking out because Braun's shoulder is not working as good. It's weak. So I just wish that match started. He hits him with a spear, and then you do like maybe 5 minutes of Sammy trying to come back, and he just can't. And then another spear, done. So I didn't like the time limit, and I just also didn't like what was done in the 5 minutes. I get they wanted Braun to have a big moment here, but I just wish they didn't do Money in the Bank then. I felt like I agree with people now that is one criticism with Triple H with this, with Otis. There was another example I was going to use where he sometimes just misses the peak of the moment, right? And I think that's something where he just needs to work on like hit with the Iron's Heart. Like Otis and Gable, they had like a mini turn, but he never got that big moment of Otis pushing him down and beating him up. And now it's like, well, okay, it kind of happened. Same thing with Braun. It was like, all right, it was just, and it's fine with being predictable. Sometimes that leads to a good story, but I think there's almost over predictableness. Like I said, I'll try and think of it, but there was another occasion this past month where it's like, they just missed the boat on that. So yeah, I just wasn't a fan. This good for Braun. This should have happened a month ago, but yeah, so I wasn't a fan of the length, wasn't a fan of the decision, and wasn't a fan of the actual match because I just think it didn't make sense for what they're trying to pull off. So
Yeah, I think that if you were going to do the shoulder injury angle, and I totally agree with you, like the agents should have been like, hey, this is the body part for our match. These are the
Yeah.
spots for our match.
and
Like,
that's Rhea's spot because she's come back from a shoulder injury, so no one should be like pick
Yeah.
a different body part today. You know?
So if you are going to have him work a shoulder, then it should have been a situation where the commentators mention the shoulder and like, hey, that's his spear, blah, blah. And then he hits the spear from the other side and they make mention, okay, that's how he could finally pin him. He switched
Yeah.
sides. If
But
he
he
did
didn't.
that, okay. Yeah, but it was normal. And
Yeah.
again, so if you would have had Sammy come out the gate, hit a haluva kick, hit a couple of moves, make it seem like, all right, Sammy's got a chance in this, and then after that, Braun just dominates him for the next 3 to 5 minutes, I'd been like, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
That fits this match. There was way too much back and forth, way too much. This was not a match that I needed wrestling psychology on. this is a match that I just needed Braun Breaker to be Braun Breaker and get that title win.
How about you, S Bubs?
Yeah, I thought this match, it definitely like when it ended, I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, it was so
Like,
quick. Because I was just coming off the stream and I saw them entrance. I'm like, okay, I'll get to see this. And by the time I sat down with a glass of water, it was like on to the next match. I was like, that's why I messaged you guys. I'm like, how long was this? And I saw someone be like, they just squashed Sammy in 5 minutes.
yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, like it was just like a forgettable match. Like I think, and the Money in the Bank one too. Like I think these guys are great, but just their matches together have just been like, I don't know. Not that they're bad, but it's just like the way they've just been done. It's just been weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like they want him to squash Sammy, but Sammy's built up too strong to be squashed.
Yeah.
So like we can't really have him just fully squash him.
They should just let him go
And
in
then,
there.
Like, it kind of like the Money in the Bank one was like pretty much the same thing, but like the other way around. Like, cause this one was like, cause the Money in the Bank one was like Braun thought he could just like easily beat Sammy, so then Sammy just like beats him, and then this one like Sammy was prepared.
And Braun easily beats him.
Yeah, and then Braun just beats him.
And that's after the whole promo before. It's like, yeah, I guess that's what we're supposed to take. It's just
the
because he
story
got
was
cocky.
Just, like,
you know.
he's distracted. I mean, the video package they did here was like taken from one of those like maybe it was like one of those they post online, because I remember watching that whole Braun Breaker promo, but it's pretty much saying like you're too focused on everything else, like with teaming with Jay and your comedy show, because the point of the promo was like, yeah, you're too busy with the comedy show, and now I'm gonna make a joke out of you at SummerSlam.
Oh god, yeah. So I think the other reason for me it's kind of a bummer. I just wish they maybe even on Raw let them go out there, just do an NXT Black and Gold main event where it's just like, just forget for like a night.
With Dragunov, like when Braun has matches with Dragunov, they go like 25 minutes on Raw.
And they forget,
I mean,
like...
I feel like that's probably the IC match at like,
Bash, yeah.
in Berlin, yeah.
I still think there's money too, and I want them to do a triple threat match with those three. I think that would be tons of fun, and I think that's what they... To me, I wish they kind of did was like kind of some reverse where it's like a triple threat and Sammy gets it, and then Braun gets away, and then Braun gets the next one. Yet, but like I wish they just did that where it's like, okay, we're just gonna for this match forget that Braun is like sometimes a squash machine, and we're just gonna let him and Sammy go in there and just go bell. And that's why I think maybe they should have saved it for Raw or done it at Money in the Bank. But I think for me it's just like annoying because they had like Sammy ended Gunther's reign. I think for Sammy's run, this is such like a just far in the wind, and like it feels it's one of those things where you're like, who beat you'll remember how Gunther lost, but you won't remember how Sammy lost. You'll be like, oh right, they did Money in the Bank. It's like very muddled, so I don't like that. That's kind of the sequel to Gunther's run. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's just back to being like the IC title lost in 5 minutes.
There's a Twitter account I really like, which is called like I forget what it's called. It's either like Forgotten Main Events or Forgotten Matches or something like that, where they just post like these random pay-per-view matches that like people just don't remember, and in the comments they put a poll where it's like, do you remember this match, yes or no?
And this will be one of them, I think.
Yeah, it's just like these random like, it's like Austin Theory and Gable and Otis versus the Street Profits and Matt Riddle was a pay-per-view match.
Like when I saw
at the Castle.
When I saw months ago, I think it was when Joe was champ at AEW. It was like Joe and Ray at Mania because they did a 2-minute match at Mania where Ray got on there, hit him a bunch, and then Joe just choked him out. But it was one of those like, right? They had a Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio, which sounds like a dream fucking match at WrestleMania. It was just Joe squashing him. It's like, right, that happened, and that's where this is. It's odd.
Yeah. I think part of it was so they had the legends there, and they really wanted that whole shot of the Steiners celebrating and things like that. Now, what's funny is I heard that they're passing around sheets backstage to everybody with basically a dossier of the legends, who's who, and everything else. I'm like, that's kind of sad that for a lot of your wrestlers, they have no idea who these people are. So you had to give them a reminder. Hey, this is a multiple time champion. This is this person. This
Yeah.
is that person.
Pay your respects, because
Yeah.
which I think it is working out. You look at Tiffany, you look at Braun. There's other people in NXT, but they're going back to a lot of the like pro athletes or people that were trying to be pro athletes. Like, hey, try wrestling or like a double. So there are a lot of people that don't. Even Cody said that. Like, I don't know if Tiffany knows. He's like, oh, I apologize. Maybe she does, but it's like, and that's to me that's fine. But it is funny where
Yeah, that was the line in Bailey's promo against Tiffany. She's like, "When I won Money in the Bank, I don't think you even knew what WWE was."
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. Braun's gonna have some success here, and then even then, maybe that's another Mania match. If they don't want to give Cena his 17th, they can give him his first IC title, and I can see Braun. And same thing, I can see peak Super Cena coming out for a night to master against Braun, and then because I think with Braun, I think. They have at least, I guess that's one thing with the Sammy. They show that he can get cocky, so I think that's how they can paint off a loss in the future. That he gets all these wins and he gets arrogant. He think he could destroy John Cena, and well, actually no, John Cena somehow hits him with a AA from the top rope. It's one of those things, So I can see it now. Braun goes for his fucking Frankenstein. He goes to shoot up, and then Cena gets him and he hits him, and everything like that. Which it was Cody. That's another spot that's being used. Cody, Braun, and LA Knight. They all did like the run up the ropes one, and then that was like another where I was like, I'm seeing this a lot tonight. But after that, we had Logan Paul versus LA Knight. David, what do you think about this?
Like I said, I wanted Kevin Owens to just take out MGK. And that's the thing, with a Logan Paul match, you're gonna get some I use the term loosely, celebrity interference. You're gonna get that whole thing. You're gonna get an outside spot with the prime card. I just felt like this was a normal match, which is weird because as much as I dislike Logan Paul as a person, he has been putting on good matches. He's been putting on memorable spot matches, and I don't really think there was a memorable spot in here other than LA Knight dropping him with that top rope brainbuster. Like, past that, there wasn't really anything that sold this match as a great match. You had to do the switch with the title now, because if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of momentum with LA Knight. This is one of those where you don't want to be an Otis, you don't want to be some of the others where you just go just past the mark and then do it. So they had to do it now. I did find it funny that this was supposed to be Logan Paul's hometown, and he got booed on his come out, and he's sitting there going, I'm home, as the entire crowd is just straight booing the piss out of this man. So that brought me an immense amount of joy.
That's like a Dom in his hometown. I think that was the Raw day one where that was the same thing. They were booing him like probably the loudest out of any crowd that's ever booed Dom was in his hometown.
Yeah, I mean, with everything that's been going on with Logan Paul this week, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but he's had so much heat outside of wrestling that I wasn't surprised that he got booed in his hometown, which is supposed to be we're leaving him having the title for this. But yeah,
remember when we thought when people talked about like Cody and him could have main evented, like, oh, Cleveland guy. It's like, I'm so glad that didn't go that route with the crowd and like with everything that happened the past week with them. So
another memorable moment of this match, I'm thinking now, because I kept seeing people talk about it, is the LA Knight just no sells the brass knuckles.
Oh yeah,
hits his finisher 2 seconds later and beats Logan Paul.
Yeah, I like LA Knight. Like, I like it, but that's the thing. Like the brass knucks is like that's like usually it's knocked out a bunch of people. It's just I don't know. It's tough how I feel about that one. Like I'm mixed. I'm not like it's not like the end of the world because I can just say okay, powered up. He had some momentum, but it's like it is brass knucks. You're supposed to sell it. Like
I think people they've been like they slowly weakened it because they had like KO kick out of just like the lucky punch. Mm-hmm. Then they had like Randy Orton kick out of like the brass knuckle punch. And
Yeah.
then I think probably Cody like no sold the brass knuckles too, or like got up like 5 seconds later. And then LA just completely no sold because it
Yeah.
was such a weird like punch too, because he was like grabbing him and just
Yeah.
like hit him from the side. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm happy the run is over. Like Logan Paul in general, I'm just kind of out on, especially after stuff last week. But like, I could still, put art aside and be like, okay, watch the performer. I think for me, it was just like it was similar how I felt about Roman's run at the end. The formula was just too much. Difference with Roman, there was always some good stories stuff going on, and Roman's like way better than Logan Paul as far as like a character wise, right? So for me, it was just always. They wrestle this athletic match, which is it's not bad. It's there's some good spots in this match, but then it's just okay. There's some YouTuber, there's some guy on the side, and then they get taken out by the babyface, and the Nucks find a way. So it's just the formula was just way too much over and over, and I just think that there's not kind of similar to another run we'll talk about later. I think with this run he held it, and I know there's like reports are people are very happy with what he's doing. It's like I guess because like he has the United States title on his podcast and it's there, but I just didn't feel that it was. I just didn't feel that the United States title got like elevated any like to me it did end up feeling more like it was a scratch for the back for Logan Paul versus WWE, and I just don't know. It didn't have like a feud. It did not have a. I guess this was probably like the most memorable feud out of it, but it didn't have that one story where it's like, okay, this was doesn't have to even be like riveting, but just something I'm really invested in. It was just okay, new challenger. They say the same stuff about Logan Paul, but he doesn't want to be here. He's a part timer. Yet Paul says, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to surprise you. I'm better than anybody that's laced the boots that's done this long." Then the interference. So I'm happy it's done. I don't know what they do from here. I know we're probably going to get Paul and Cena like we talked about at some point. And I do think they are going to make Paul go to Netflix because that's what he wanted. So I think there'll be some trades or something. Yeah. So I really there's that's the thing. I get why WWE does it. I understand. But and as talented as Logan Paul is, there's no like program I'm dying to see. I'm like, I can't wait. Even for the few matches he's had, like I'm more excited by Bad Bunny coming back at some point than Logan Paul, just because Bunny.
I think the program people wanted was LA Knight and Logan. So
yes.
After this, there's not really much else.
And this was fine, but I think like with LA Knight, and people like that, it got so like comedic, this angle, right? Of like the home invasion was like I'm peeing in your pool, because the crowd loves that, but it wasn't like, oh man, I really want to see these two fight like AJ and LA Knight, which was a good match, but they at least made this is like a blood feud. Where this was just he's stealing his truck, like he's doing like hijinks on Logan Paul.
I thought he was gonna enter like with the truck like all painted to be like LA Knight-ified, like with and stuff.
Yeah, or even Slim Jim or something. But he just came. They got to get that Prime promotion. So
he broke the window.
Yeah, so I'm excited for LA Knight. I'm excited to see. Obviously, the first defense should probably be Carmelo Hayes, who again at the press conference, the man won't leave him alone. Because if someone asked him a question,
because I heard him say something about.
So they go to this interviewer, and the interviewer goes, "So how does it feel to beat LA Knight?" Oh, he's like, "Sorry, Logan Paul." He's like, "Oh, sound like Carmelo Hayes over here," and the entire press was like, "Oh, like Carmelo Hayes was never gonna live down that fucking." You're looking at LA Knight in the mirror, like, "Yeah, that's me." I'm like, so I'm excited for that, but I do think with Hayes. I didn't catch SmackDown. Did they have him? He beat Andrade, right? I imagine.
He lost to Andrade.
What?
Yeah.
You can't. He's the speed champion. You can't have him pinning the champion.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he lost to him. He did the whole Mello won't miss, and then he lost to him again.
Because I saw the promo in like the barber shop or whatever, and then like he lost. Okay.
No, I think he rolled him up, maybe.
Mini rant here. He was the #1 draft pick for SmackDown, and this guy has been getting fucking geeked out by LA Knight. He's losing to Andrade, who I like.
I think I saw someone say he doesn't have a single win or something like that.
Well, yeah. Okay, he was in Money in the Bank, but guess what happened in Money in the Bank? Again, Andrade stole his thunder. Everyone was talking about Andrade after that match, and I wonder because this would happen. I don't think so, but this would happen sometimes.
This might be like a best of 7 that they're doing here with Andrade.
Like a non-official one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Which
ton of matches.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like from the first, from what I saw, it looked like they had good chemistry. Yeah, I wanted to watch it. Just was busy on the Friday, but to me, with Hayes, they they're dropping the ball. I won't say a little bit, a lot, and it reminds me a lot of when in the Black and Gold era when Triple H would love someone in NXT and they go to the main roster and Vince is like, I don't get it. Now I don't think Triple H is that way with Carmelo Hayes, but I just feel like Shawn looks at Carmelo Hayes as like him, like he looks at him as Shawn Michaels, and Triple H is like, yeah, like he's a good hand. He probably sees him as like a main eventer because he's drafted #1. So I'm not saying it's not like Vince, but it just feels. For being they should not ever made him the #1 draft pick because I feel like that put an idea. Okay, he's going to be a top player right away, and he just feels like some just random rookie that's signed.
They had the longest match on SmackDown. I saw. Yeah, Andrade defeats Carmelo Hayes in 16 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yeah, like the push. I'm not saying exactly, but like I thought it was going to be close to almost like what Jade was getting. In the same way, they've protected her a lot, and he's a much better wrestler. I thought he was going to go through people, but I really don't. I feel like they threw a bucket of water on Hayes. And if this was the case, he should just stay in NXT longer because they've really, at least with this, like what is happening with Tiffany and Braun, which they got there like earlier than him, but still, that's what I thought would be happening for him, and it's not. It's just he's around, and I really don't know. I don't think they're going to have LA Knight lose the title right away, so I don't know.
Having the U.S. title, though, like, on SmackDown builds that scene a lot. Like, I think the U.S. title scene is probably going to be, like, by Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar.
Good matches coming up.
You probably put in like Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews.
Oh, don't put that on me, Ricky Paul. Get Corbin out of here. I know he had his little NXT run, but
if you're wanting people to build to the U.S. title, I'm saying like they're probably gonna take the pins for Santos Escobar and Andrade. Like I feel like they're in the scene in the same way that like the Party Girls are in the Raw scene.
Yeah. I hope they turn Andrade heel because I think Andrade and LA Knight could have some really good potential. So that's what I hope. And then don't do Hayes and LA Knight, and maybe make it that Hayes is the guy that beats LA Knight, and that's like the his make good for all this shade and everything like that. But I think they'll do. I don't know really what they'll do right away with Knight. So
yeah, I feel like you'll probably get like a multi-man U.S. title match.
Yeah, triple threat. At Bash, I imagine Bash could just be Santos, like you said, and that's like an easy LA Knight win, and there you go. But like I said, I'd be down for some mid-season roster swaps for both Raw and SmackDown. I think you could send some women over.
Like very often.
I feel like it's random, where it would just be like 1 year they just tweet out like, oh, we're gonna do some changes, and then like we changed this, and then there's like 2 years where they don't do anything like that. So I would like them to do, hey, the GMs got together. They want to trade some people. Logan going to Raw. They send maybe another women's wrestler over to Raw to help that division, and then send some person for LA Knight to beat over. I don't know. So,
I think somewhere around the October-November time, they used to be very cautious about. It was weird because they would do the draft in October, then right before Survivor Series. So you had all these people who just went to Raw or SmackDown fighting.
I'm fighting for Raw. I love Raw. I've been here for 3 weeks.
So now that they're not doing that, now that they're doing War Games, it makes sense to do kind of like a mid-year, like WWE's mid-year change, where you do have some people who come over like, hey, we brought this person over to handle this situation. Well, then the next week you see on Raw that they got somebody else from exchange. So you see a couple of talents get exchanged. Like you don't have to do the full draft over
just do like
again.
3 for each brand. 3 to Raw, 3 to SmackDown, freshen up a little bit.
The Jay for Kevin Owens.
Yeah, do something like that again. And that's what I think. Both like a few scenes will need some change up. That's how you can get Jay to SmackDown for some like just full on Bloodline stuff, right? Because we'll get to.
Just do the trade back, Kevin Owens for Jay.
Yeah, no, they do Jay and Sammy SmackDown and KO Raw. So again, he's never with Sammy. It's like what the hell? Because that's something like we'll get there, but. There's 3 times where the crowd was wanting Jey Uso in the main event, and that did not happen. But out of every, other than Roman, which I think people knew was coming back.
Like in the press, not the press, but like the kickoff show, I think yesterday, people were just like when Rio was out there, the whole crowd was just like yeeting the whole time.
Yeah. So like that's what I guess you got those tag titles, right? I was gonna say because of Sammy and Jay, they might spend a little longer there. That's why it would have been at this point. I would have preferred them just keeping the tag titles like the women's, where they could go over because you could have Sammy and Jay win and then they stay on Raw, but then they go back and forth to fight with Bloodline and everything. Because the tag title scene to me is a fucking disaster right now. We'll get to that later on. But in the main event, other than Roman, the person they want out there, they weren't chanting for Randy Orton. They weren't chanting for Kevin Owens. They weren't even chanting for Sammy. They wanted Jay out there to help Cody. People still like that Cody Jay connection. So it's like you got to get him back on SmackDown. I think you need to or make it that he can go between both shows because people want him in this story. So
I mean, a show like this, a pay-per-view where you have cross promotion between the two brands, this has been a perfect time to bring in a Jay. Like, I love Kevin Owens. Okay, throw him in there. I really didn't like. If you had to swap one, I would have swapped out Randy for Jay and had KO and Jay be the people who come out because they're more fun and more giving. Or if you did bring out Hikuleo, which everyone thought that this could have been a chance for him to debut, then you have Jay also. So I miss opportunity not having Jay, not having the entire crowd. You're going off about how huge this crowd is and how it's an American record for SummerSlam. Been perfect time to get your yeet on.
well, and for me, I think Randy was having too much fun. I hated that Randy's coming out to save Cody, and he's like slapping hands with all the fans. It's just like, man, like your boy's about to lose the world title. Like, get in there.
He's making jokes about how long the ramp is. He's like, do I go this way, this way?
Yeah, it's just like and that's why I do wonder.
Out here, Jeff Hardy in it.
Well, yeah, I do wonder when we get the Cody versus Randy. Like, I think he does, but I sometimes look at Randy. I'm like, do you got the heel Randy in you anymore? Because I feel like he's just been having too good a time since he's been back, and I feel like he's just there to like enjoy the fans.
Thing, like you have the like Cody Randy match, and it's like this Randy, and at the end he turns heel or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that, and I hope that he can get there and get fully back to that mode because the happy-go-lucky Randy Orton, which is fine. I'm fine him be a babyface and do that, but it's just like he does just look like he's just there to interact with the fans, which is great because you think he knows. Like, hey, you think he said he has like a under 5 years left or something like that. So I think he knows. Okay, he's kind of on his way out not soon, but in the near future. So I think he's enjoying it. But it's just funny that they're just killing him and stuff. But we'll get there. And to me, this is the same thing as Logan Paul. Another run. Nia Jax defeats Bayley. This went exactly how I said. I told you they were going to wait on that Tiffy. They just got that briefcase. They got to sell those. And I actually liked which I think Tiffy's going to say otherwise, but I like that they're playing it off as, oh, she pretended to cash in just to distract Bayley. I don't know if Tiffany Stratton as the character feels that way, but her running with that I think is a good idea. I think Bayley and Nia had better match than I thought. I think once Bayley did that powerbomb spot, the crowd was alive and it had like a good energy to it. Bayley's just always good. But again, I guess this was like the definitive feud, but I wish there was another feud in the middle. It just felt like all I'm going to remember is her beating Io and then her losing to Nia and not much in between there. I think it was all right. It was an all right run. Matches were always good. Bayley does a good job. She's always talented in the ring, and she's someone I worry about Damian now, where I just like, what's she gonna be doing at Mania, and is she just gonna get thrown in a tag team with Naomi, and that's what they're gonna do? Like, I feel like that's the route they're gonna go. So I wish she got one bigger story before the Nia Jax loss, but good match nonetheless, and I think Nia will have a run until Tiffany cashes in on her. So
yeah, they were. Tiffany and Nia Jax were hilarious in the press conference with their whole act that they got going on, their besties thing and everything else. So the turn when it happens is going to be great. But yeah, I knew the minute she got that custom Money in the Bank briefcase, I'm like, yeah, she's holding on for at least 3 more months.
I love that it's like a bag. She has the strap, so it's like a purse. That's so cool. That's such a good touch to that.
Yeah, I think probably. How long do you think until she cashes in, like Survivor Series?
I think it all depends on what I have to see what they do with War Games first, because if it's like a War Games with them, I could, even though I would
kind of want
love.
I want them to do it because they teased that last year with Damien because they said like if he cashed in on the War Games match if they
Yes,
pinned
that's what I was thinking.
yeah
Yeah, or even if it's directly after, I would like it in the middle. I'd like it. Let's say it was Team Nia versus Team someone else. Tiffany cashes in, wins the title, and then just leaves, and then Team Nia also loses the match. Like I think that's like a
yeah
double like fu. But at the same time, that's tough because Stratton becomes like, unless they want her to be a babyface, she's an insta babyface, right? So I think it could be Nia and they do the teases, but I could also see them do a situation where whoever the babyface that finally beats Nia, that's when Tiffy like cashes in on a hurt one. But I love the War Games scenario, whether it's during or after the War Games. I think that'd be great for whoever the champion is to be hurt. So I think for me, I can't decide until I see what the War Games match is. Because if it's a Raw War Games, then I don't know. I really don't know when it could be. It could even be the
a Raw War
Rumble.
Games since SmackDown is probably like the Bloodline
Yeah, you're
War
right.
Games.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Unless I
don't
mean you
know.
could either way like you like I think last year both of them had like a mix of people I think or maybe not I'm not sure.
For the
The
women's,
women's
I
one
can't
did yeah
remember. Yeah.
because Becky was on the women's War Games team.
Right. And
She
they
was
did that
on
her and
Raw.
Charlotte getting back together, right? I
Yeah.
remember. So my prediction, I think when Tiffy, so unless there's something different, if they do a double, like it's just all women in War Games, I think my prediction is they're gonna do it at or around the Rumble. Tiffy's gonna be in the Rumble, lose the Rumble, and because that's like her not last chance, but like she could main event WrestleMania. I could see like the women's rumble starting the show. She's in the final four, loses, and on that same show she cashes in. Because I think that would be a good character motivation of like even like her as a brat of like, oh, I didn't win the rumble, fuck it, I'm just gonna go cash in on whoever the champ now is, and like I'm punching my ticket to
That's like
WrestleMania.
what people like say. Yeah, it's like if you're the Money in the Bank, why would you even enter the Rumble? But I guess that can work. But yeah, if she just loses and then just cashes in after.
What I've always wanted, and they did this a little bit in AEW, but they don't have a Money in the Bank contract. It's remember when Luchasaurus won some stupid like he gets a title shot at any point. Edge
They
won.
made it up just for
Yes,
that
right.
moment.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
I want them to do at some point is I would love it for someone that has Money in the Bank to win the world title, still the briefcase, and then like their first defense lose it, but then cash right back in and get it. Like I've always been waiting for them to do that. They haven't. So when they did that mini Lucha one, I'm like, oh, I hope one day they do that where Christian loses it and then he had this contract, cash it in, and just gets it right
Yeah.
back. Like I hope someone does that, and I don't think they would do that with Tiffy, but I really want that at some point that. Because they even the first time with Edge, he had a world title match against Batista and almost won it. The deal was find out with Christian. Christian was going to help him. He said, "If I win it, I'll give you the briefcase," which never made sense. Because why would you give him the briefcase cash in?
Yeah.
But that's where it's like I hope we at one point see we're a world champion. Even
I
Seth,
could see
remember
if
they
you, if
did.
you just have like a really like an Oba Femi win it, and then he just like wins the title, and then yeah, still has the briefcase or some other title shot.
Yeah, I hope that happens in the future, but I'm going to say that's my prediction is Tiffy loses the Rumble, does really well, wants to punch her ticket. I know people say like, oh, why not Chamber? Wait till then. You could, but I just like, there hasn't been a cash in at Rumble, and I feel like that's going to be a bigger crowd than wherever Chamber is. Have they announced where Rumble is this year yet?
Rumble, Indianapolis.
Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it'll probably be like another big stadium show, so we'll see.
Rumble, yeah, they haven't announced Rumble yet.
Okay,
Or
so
not Rumble, Elimination Chamber.
yeah, and that'll be
I don't know if
something.
there's any rumors for that. Like I think for Backlash, I'd heard like Backlash. The rumor is like Italy, I think.
Right, yeah, and Chamber
Yeah.
they'll probably go to somewhere non-America, so that would make sense. So
Hmm.
yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, because they did I know Royal Rumble's in Indy because they did the whole announcement
They're
about
the big deal.
Indy
with,
getting
yeah, they get a
three
bunch of shows.
big
Right.
pay-per-views. They're getting a WrestleMania, a Royal
That
Rumble.
Saudi contract of we're
I'm
here
like-
for 4 years.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like,
maybe if
jeez,
you-
what did
if-
you guys give up?
I wonder if they do the like WrestleMania in London deal. Maybe you do Elimination Chamber like in London as like because they want multiple like shows.
Would you do them back to
before that.
back though, like that though? Chamber and then Mania?
Not back to well, no, because this this WrestleMania deal, I think, is or no.
Oh,
The
you mean this
Indianapolis
year?
one,
Sorry,
yeah.
I see
That's
what you,
what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying,
see
'cause,
what you
like the
mean. Yeah,
Indianapolis one, they get SummerSlam in like 2 years,
yeah, it's
so they
such
get like
yeah.
Rumble now. Maybe that's something with London WrestleMania. Like
Yeah,
we'll give you Chamber now, and you get WrestleMania in like three
I could see
years or
that.
whatever.
Yeah, they get the Rumble. I know they get the Rumble this year, and then so they're doing it at the big stadium at Lucas Oil, and then they're getting like all that week's wrestling will be in and around
Yeah,
Indianapolis and the outlying cities, and then same thing. They're going to
Yeah, they
get a
get
SummerSlam and a
SummerSlam in
WrestleMania to be
2026,
decided
and
later.
then yeah, I think SummerSlam is locked in 2026, and then they get a WrestleMania at some point.
yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. So, and I think you're going to see a lot more of those kind of multi-year deals with the company because not that I think WWE's going to have a dip, but it kind of works for them because like in 3 years, like well, if the product's dipped or like attendance or something like that, it's like well, it doesn't matter. They got their money already, right? So it's like it's smart,
Yeah.
and I don't think it will. I think they got lots of stars and stories that for the next few, especially with Netflix, and I trust Triple H a lot more. Like, don't get me wrong, I got qualms about how Triple H does things, but this is infinite better than it was 5 years ago. Like my qualms are just because like there's certain things in NXT he would do that I almost would have like no notes for him in NXT where it's like, no, it's just 10 out of 10 every time we're here. But I do get because it's the main roster. But yeah, I think with him leading charge, I don't see a massive dip. I see ebbs and flows where okay, maybe things are down right now as far as like there's nothing too hot, but I don't see anything to the point where like turn off your TV wise. So only thing I want to turn off, not really, but fucking Seth Rollins, man. So we got Drew versus CM Punk. And I said after Mania, I said it, I think, in the Discord and WrestleMania, that after what we learned about Seth and what he did, and even just character-wise what he did for Cody, I'm like, I can never disparage Seth Rollins again. Seth Rollins, at one point, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. Not a fan of the visionary revolutionary I've talked about it before, right? But I'm like, okay, I can't give this guy any more crap. So I'm not going to give him too much crap. I'm just going to give booking crap of I stand by what I said. The first 5 minutes, he's sitting on the ropes. The crowd multiple times sings it. I feel like it was a distraction. The ending did work of I love the bracelet thing I like a lot because I've seen some people go, oh, it's just a bracelet. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's what it signifies, right? And I think it was a great reveal of Seth picks up, puts it on, and Punk sees him with it. And like, what are you doing? Like, so it did work. So I just wish that either they told him, hey, lay out and call it kind of down the middle. Let them be loose, but call it down the middle until the ending and then get involved. Or just do this as a rematch. Have Punk, because I think Punk and Drew.
I think he was calling it down the middle though. Like
No,
he
but
was
I meant
kinda
like just
letting
play.
them
No,
both do stuff. And
I meant
then,
like don't be like Seth Rollins. Don't be like
yeah.
pointing
Don't
at
be
the, like,
over the top.
Yeah, he's like
That's
because at one
that's
point he's
what
like
I was-
touching his ear,
yeah.
like like don't do that. Like just
That's like
be
what
a
I was
ref.
saying, like that a Triple H special guest referee he did that one time where he was just like a normal referee the
Yes.
entire match.
Yeah, I would have loved that. Do that to start off the match, and then once because they had that interaction where Drew was like, "Hey, this benefits us both. Just let me do that." Then after that, if he started saying, "You know what, you guys do whatever you want," and then going over the top, after they both had some back and forth with him as a ref, and he was just like, "F it, fine, do whatever you want." I would have understood that more. But the fact that he started off with the, "Oh, okay, you guys are doing this. Well, I'm gonna just look the other way." It was just
He was like
it was a
5 minutes
little bit
in,
over the top.
yeah, and it just checked me out. And like I said, the crowd was like Punk's slamming Drew against the steps, and they're doing these spots, and the crowd's singing. And I get it because like I think Drew sometimes hits the nail on the head. Like I do feel like sometimes Seth Rollins does feel like that guy that has to be like, yeah, well, I'm here too, and like the song's the best way, right? Because people love to sing it, and it distracts things. But I think for me, it took away. I think this could have been the match of the year candidate. And I think Punk looked great. He looks the best he's looked in like 13 years. Like he put on a lot of muscle mass. He lost some weight
I
there.
love
Like
that line to Seth because he was telling him, like, you're not the center of you're not always the center of the universe or something like that. And then Punk tells him, like, I may not always be, but you never are.
yeah, it's not always about me, but it's never about you.
Yeah.
And that's where it like sometimes the real life Rollins character does reflect that, where it feels too try hard, and that's where I just wish that I think this match could have been a SummerSlam all-timer like Punk and Brock. And I think it's considered like now just another step in the story. It was good. I think Drew and Punk had good chemistry. I think they both sold each other well. Didn't look like any sandbagging or anything like that because Punk was posting some very risky stuff earlier in the day. I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen here? But that's what for me.
I think it helps because at all times you're thinking like, did he really hit him there? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is he really hurt there?
It makes for good TV. So I think for me, it's like it was a good match. I think the ending was really good. I think I'm always gonna look at it as like what could have been. It reminds me a lot of like David will remember this where when they did in 2012 CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho was the first person to say he was the best in the world, and that's what they built this feud upon. But then like midway through, that's what Jericho and Punk want to do, just who's the best. And then Vince is like, well, what if we start talking about Punk being like his family problems and why maybe he could be an alcoholic and all this stuff. So they started bringing like your mom doesn't love you, your dad was a drunk, and all this stuff. So then they did this thing where they made the match like if Punk gets disqualified, he's gonna lose. So they made the whole match like Punk being like, I'm not gonna use his chair, I'm not gonna use his tail, where it's like everyone just wanted them to wrestle. And that's what this felt like, where it was still good, but I just felt like do this stip later, do this at Bash, like just have
He's
them
getting Jack Daniels poured on him and things like
Oh
that.
my
because
God, yeah.
He's straight edge. She doesn't drink. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pour alcohol on you and stuff like. It was just
they had Jericho from a car film him going into a bar being like, oh, what's Punk up to? And he was just like meeting a friend, like all this stuff. And that's where I think they should have done this match and had the refs get beat to shit in this match, and then which they did, but I wish like the chemistry was there that I think they could have had a really great just one-on-one match. I wish Seth was maybe just on commentary, and I think they missed the ball with Seth being too much involved in here. But I think that at least they did a good job of reigniting Seth versus Punk, and I am very excited for that. And I also was just like curious of Punk hits him with a GTS, and I was very caught off guard why Seth was like reluctant to count the 3 count on him on Punk. It was like
I don't think it was reluctant. I think it's that thing like when you hit the ref and they're like stunned and they have to count. So like that's how the logic works. If you're a ref and you get hit by a finisher, you have to. Your brain is slow or something. And
you got instant CTE.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was him like purposely trying to slow.
I don't know. He made a face afterwards. He made a face like, I don't want to do this. I don't like you either. But I'm like, someone's got to win this damn match, so you're gonna have to count for one of them.
And like Drew didn't purposely hit you in that way, right? So it's weird. They played it off like the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Undertaker, which was weird. When Cole's like, oh, shades of 97. Like, he's literally just saying, like, they're doing the exact same spots. It was odd. But it was like when Shawn hit Taker at the chair and he reluctantly count. This was the guy that just hit his finish on me is down. And so, I don't know. I'm mixed on. I think I'll need another rewatch and I'll need to see what the follow-up is. I feel like at Bash, they're going to do Seth and Drew. I think they're going to do that first. And then Punk and Drew at Bad Blood, which is funny if they do a Hell in a Cell, because Punk didn't, like, he said that to that press guy, like, I hope you're not booking this stuff. So
I think the Hell in a Cell thing was for his first match.
Yes, yeah. I suppose, what do you think about this match overall?
I really liked it. Like, I thought it was like, I thought Punk looked great out there.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
No injuries. We're good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? No, yeah, I thought it was good just finally getting Punk and Drew, hitting each other in there. I did like the bracelet storyline. I think that's been cool, especially I saw like the girl who gave it to him like at a WWE World was posting there like her bracelet that she made for him. Now it's this big part of a storyline. What else?
And that's just good. It's great, like when it comes off and he finally gets it, and then it falls off again, and so like it was. There's so much good stuff
falling off of people at SummerSlam. I was like, during that Rhea and Liv match, like there was so much. I don't know if like their outfits are just like breaking apart or something.
I think it was Liv's like tassels and stuff.
Between like every time they would go down, like the ref was like kicking stuff out of the ring. And that Logan in LA match, there like when they went to the outside, there were a bunch of like bottle caps on the floor, like the prime bottles that just like opened up. But no, I thought Seth, like, to me it wasn't distracting really. Like I didn't really notice the people singing the song that much, and I thought like this was how Seth was gonna do it anyway. So to me it wasn't really. Like, I was more focused on Punk and Drew than really what Seth was doing. If it's just a thing where he's just, like, sitting on the ropes and stuff. And yeah, I hope, like, I'm excited to see more. Like, I saw in the Bash in Berlin advertisement, they were sort of advertising that Punk was going to be there.
He'll be the special referee. They'll just run it
Yeah.
back. They'll do Drew and Seth, and he'll be special. Yeah, because I feel like you got like at least you got the trajectory of you got Seth and Drew that's going to happen. I think you got Drew and Punk that's going to rematch. You got you got Punk and Seth. And again, I do really want them to do a triple threat at some point. I wonder even if they would do that for Bad Blood, because there's not too many triple threat. Which it's funny. I think the only triple threat Hell in a Cell match CM Punk was in. It was him and fucking Del Rio. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think there's been another one. And I feel like that'd be a good way to maybe ensure that Punk doesn't get like. I don't also want every CM Punk match say he's going to get injured. I don't want to be that mean, but I just mean like with it being a cell, I could see them doing the 3-way there, but I don't know. I don't know. That's why I always thought they were going to do the 3-way for the title. And now with Gunther with the title, I don't know how they get to that. And I feel like, would they do Seth and Punk first?
With Finn, Gunther, Seth, Punk, Drew, and Damien.
Yeah, and it comes it comes down to those three. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, would they do a triple threat before they do Punk and Seth solo? I don't think so, right? I feel like they do the solo first, and I think Seth still wins that. I don't know. Punk's gonna have to get a win here at some point, though. But I guess we didn't even mention. Yeah, Drew got the win, and yeah, Punk, put him over. I've seen a lot of fun AEW memes, like he's the real AEW champion now, Drew McIntyre, and it's like someone did like a Force Ghost version of like Hangman, Jack Perry, the Bucks, like watching over as Drew gets the win. Like, there's been some really good ones out there.
The dude for the Jack Perry POV on the ref cam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's something I gotta say. I know it's one night.
2 times.
Yeah, they use it like 2 times. 2 times too many.
Look bad. Yeah. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's a cool idea, I guess.
I think for me, it's like use it for particular matches, maybe like the lower card matches, maybe weapon matches, like seeing some guy go to the table. But I'm not. I know because sometimes you're like, oh well, you don't like it because it's new and you'll get used to it. I didn't like it at all. I think that. You talk about Seth Rollins. That took me way more out of just you're in the middle match, and then just like, and even the one with Liv and Rhea. Like I know again, you shared the tweet. Like yeah, there's some fun to it and like attractive women, but the actual shot of them was not good. Of just like they're like on top of
me. You didn't see it. Like you didn't see anything.
Yeah, and then the Punk one was where they like show the crowd, and it was just like Punk looking like I don't know. Like, and if they're gonna use it,
it was like that photo that people always post where Punk's like
yeah, in the camera. Yeah. And if they're gonna use it, I'm fine with that. Like to be in the match, show the crowd, show the combatants.
Still had it on when he took the GTS. That would have been
I wonder if they wanted that.
Shot,
yeah, I wonder. Yeah, and that's and I
or
think
like getting Claymore or something like that would have been some good stuff.
I think when you use the ref cam, to me is when the guys are down and do instant replay of like, oh, let's see that from the ref's perspective. I think when they use it like no warning, just like cuts the ref.
Use that to justify like the referee decision.
Yes,
type stuff.
Yes. This is what the ref saw. He didn't see Gunther get his leg put there. Like I think there's after the match an instant replay. Those work. Same thing. Seth gets hit with the GTS, and then while they're down, oh look what happened. Could you imagine if Punk picked him up and they just went to his angle and you didn't even see it? You just like that's where it's just like it's a hard. I get what they're trying to go for. I just think they gotta use it better.
Maybe test it out, like
not at SummerSlam.
Give it an NXT run for a couple months and then call it up to the main roster.
And I thought that was the rumor. It was going to be just NXT first and then go up, but they just decided to test it on the second biggest year. But
yeah, I heard a lot of people say that was their biggest complaint was that it should have been used on a different event a couple of times, gotten used to it, and then we go from there. Maybe use it on one of these NXT shows that we've been having or something like that.
I do think they are going to use it on NXT probably. Now that's the orange and white brand. You see the logos now orange.
Yeah.
Changed it for CW.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. They should get one on Joe Hendry when he's doing his concert. Get a perspective of
him playing the guitar.
Yeah. You can see his claps right in front of him. So, so what do we all? So I'm saying I'm saying Drew and Seth at Bash. Do you guys agree, or do you think there's someone else at Bash?
Drew and Seth at Bash.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Punk gets a month off, but he's still around.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm not sure. I could see, yeah, but I really don't know how they're gonna do it.
And then, yeah, like I said, I don't want Drew and Gunther, and then Punk fucking screws Drew again. We're done with that. And then at Bad Blood, do we just think it's Drew Punk rematch where Punk gets the win and bracelet back? I guess, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Punk.
They just, yeah. There's still,
Punk's gonna have to get a win, and he's gonna have to get a
He's-
good win.
Yeah.
At least they can't say he's Punk Hogan now for
No,
beating
he
Drew.
put over Drew. Yeah. And do we? So with Seth and Punk, do we think we get that before Mania, or think they're gonna save that for Mania? I have a feeling they're gonna stretch it out. I think.
Yeah,
I think
they could
that's a
save
Mania
it for
match.
Mania.
Yeah. Okay.
That's definitely a Mania match. They're gonna save it for that. And
Unfortunately, I don't
could
think they're getting
definitely
night
see
one
why.
main event though now, like last year. So unless they find a way for Gunther to lose some way, but I don't know. It's
Seth versus Punk versus Gunther versus Cena. Main event of WrestleMania.
I don't think Cena, even though that would be funny. I thought at one point there was a main event where it was Drew, Seth, Punk, and Gunther. I'm still not convinced they could do that with a few things. But yeah, throw Cena in there. They can make him not even. They'll make him pin Punk. Punk will take one last.
Triple AA to all three of them, stacks them, and
yeah.
pins them.
Yeah.
Tears both his quads in the process. Cena retirement tour is over. Okay, finally we got Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Longest match at 29 minutes. Like I said, I already shared a bit in my opening. I felt like this was a discount version of the WrestleMania one. I think, like Aspep said, they didn't even brawl. Like, they started using weapons at the end, but I just didn't feel like they even go in the crowd. They didn't, it just didn't feel like a Bloodline rules. It just felt like the last 5 minutes we want some interferences and we don't want DQs. Well, just knock the fucking referee over at that point, And I think it did help at least because I feel like people were not excited for this match, and I feel like after the fact they still weren't that excited. I saw so many people, which I don't agree with, saying Solo Sikoa is just a bad wrestler. I will not go that far. I think he did he's a serviceable. I wouldn't say above average. I can say he is good. I can't say he's going to be the best, but I think he can go in there. I think him and Roman can have something, good. And even then, I don't think he's going to be a main eventer, but they're building him up the same way they would build up Giants for Undertaker of he's going to have a good run. Who knows after what happens after Roman, but I thought the match to me was, it was fine. And then the interferences, like I said, just didn't have the same chutzpah because I got a little excited when Arn was like, oh, I've talked to some people, but it's like, you just talk to the same people Cody's talking.
Coming out right there.
Well, I thought, okay, we're going to get Randy and KO and then some surprise. Even if it's Jay, I would have counted that as a surprise because he's not in the story currently. But when he's like, yeah, I've talked to some people, it's like, these are the same people Cody Rhodes been talking. So, who were you talking to that didn't show up?
I saw someone tweet out, oh, Dustin's coming out to save Cody.
I saw that too. Yeah, and
I thought maybe Ricky Starks.
That would have, both those would be huge. But obviously, I think Dustin still has contract 2026. I think Ricky, I don't know, but he's
Dustin is currently the ROH trios.
He is,
with
yeah.
the Von Erichs.
Yeah, fucking yeah. But so I thought this was fine. It was just building towards the Roman moment. I like the change of music. It's something different. I think even then too, it's the Roman moment. I thought was a little simple. I thought they were gonna tease him taking out Cody and then do the swap. So I thought there was just it's just almost was too simple, but maybe it's just because I feel like for the past 3 months, we've just been Roman's back at SummerSlam, Roman's back at SummerSlam. So maybe it was just kind of it's when a big movie's coming, it's okay, we're finally here for it. So I'm more excited for after the fact, but massive pop, and this would have made Vince McMahon from 5 years ago jealous. I can't believe we're at the stage where...
That was the loudest ooh ever.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That's where it's just it's funny where we got to that stage. Where is it here? When we got that ooh-ah, it was...
Chills.
It was all that stuff. It was every...
Just as sure as a rock is covered in chills already.
You could...
You can feel the mana. You can feel the mana.
Never fixed it.
it.
I never fixed the screen record. I have to edit that. But I think it just is for me, that was such a full circle moment of this was a character and a guy that made myself and many people be I'm done with the product. Not because of Roman, just the way he was written, booked, shoved down the throat, and now it's like he is a genuine. You could argue more like Cody. Like Cody said, the presser. He's like, oh, like what do you do with two people? We've never had that. It's like, was he not watching wrestling when Rock and Stone Cold were down? Like we've had the two babyface before, but like it was cool to see. It's like such a full circle that he is like a guy that people love and want to see. And my last note before I throw it over, they were making, which I never liked those custom belts. They made like a custom
The Roman
1016, 13, like the days he had it. It's a Roman Reigns belt. I don't like it. It's like him on there jumping and it's red, but they sold them all out. Those things were $600 a pop.
Yeah, I saw someone say they made $800,000 in revenue for
Nuts.
because there was limited. There was exactly 1,316 of them.
Yeah,
So
I think they're gonna
sold
make
out.
another batch in the future because that's a lot of money, and that's
they're
where
probably gonna make a second just like overall like original tribal chief belt.
yeah, something
and that
like
one's
that.
gonna be like unlimited.
But that's the thing,
unlimited
like
belts.
what they wanted 5-6 years ago of him be the top face, get these reactions, sell this merch, it's finally happening. And gee, who'd have thunk? Just turn him heel for a little bit and then bring up like people fucking said that. Even Roman had told Vince like, let's just do this. Like it worked for The Rock, let's do it for me. No. Like we're just gonna like, but it's just like to me last night was like the stamp of like, man, we've come completely full circle because years ago people would have been chanting for Roman, and it's great to see. So delivery on that's great. We can talk about the Bloodline stuff after, but yeah, Dave, what do you think about the match overall? Some of the interferences we got. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa having one spot of the night, still fucking botched that. I agree with people. He has to be doing this on purpose now. How does he run Cody into the ropes?
I saw a comment where he was like he's selling the eye patch perfectly.
That's my only
God-tier
justification
worker.
is the eye patch. That's the only justification.
Like it's just such he's a walking meme. Like when he did that, I was like, "There's no way," because I'm like, "No, there's certainly he won't screw up this interference spot," and he does. And Cody's getting fucking draped over the ropes, and like this is a
He's
top
gotta
guy.
scoot him over into the turnbuckle. It was. I'm
Oh
like,
my
are we?
God.
Like this is seriously what we're doing. Okay. Now the match itself, it was fine. I thought there was going to be more with the interference. I thought it was going to be more kind of all over the place. Jacob Fatu looks like a complete monster. Even if he did get injured, there was a picture of him afterwards walking around in a boot. So, I don't know exactly the extent to it. Looking at it on a replay earlier this morning, it looked like his shin kind of hit on the announce table like super hard as he did it. So it may just be a precautionary thing with the boot, just keeping him safe so that he can do more spots. But yeah, and then I expected Hikuleo to show up, but that Roman pop was amazing. I liked Cody's entrance, as long as it was with the coming back from the bus.
When I saw him on
walking
the
in with
bus,
Glock Anderson.
I thought he was like outside the stadium. Like, how long is he gonna walk to the ring if he's in the bus? It's gonna be like 15 minutes of him just walking, but he was just parked inside. But I thought he was like, cause like when I went to the Rumble, like his bus was like parked like out back of the stadium. I saw it there, so I was just thinking like he's gonna walk all the way from there.
No,
but-
they had
Can you
to give
imagine the
Pharaoh
Cody
his
haters?
moment.
He gets like
Yeah.
a 50-minute entrance, Yeah.
No, they had to give Pharaoh his moment, and I'm glad for Pharaoh to get his moment. I know there was a lot of talk like, oh, he's gonna walk to the ring with Pharaoh. I'm like, nope. After what happened at AEW and that pyro, that ain't happening again. They're not risking that, especially if this is his last hurrah. Yeah, he ain't doing that. So,
But again, also, people give some context. Espo said to tell me at one point they thought this dog was dying. Because Corey was like, the final time he walks, I'm like, oh my God, this is so like, is he sick or
the
something?
dog just wants to be at home with the kid. The dog prefers to be at home with the kid. That's it. But yes, that whole it's Pharaoh's last hurrah. I'm like, come on, announcers, y'all gonna have to give a little bit more.
And we know Cody, when he went down and he kissed Pharaoh, he got up. Cody was like holding back tears. It's like, oh my God, like what are they telling me his dog's like on his deathbed? And they're like, oh no, he's just like, he just wants to be home. I'm like, oh my God, you bastards, like trying to make me feel so dramatic there. And then like, I just wasn't sure. And then Arn was just so random. He pops up there and yeah.
Yeah, so but the match and then the rest of Cody's entrance I liked. I don't want him to use that mask for every match, but yeah, bring it out WrestleMania.
Every Bloodline rules
I think
match.
it's too big. Like,
is a
it
little
needs to be
big.
slightly like more
Yeah.
on his head. 'Cause
Yeah,
he just
it-
looks like a big head mod on one of those like Call of
He
Duty.
does.
so
It sounds dumb, but I wonder if it's that big so he can like keep his hair perfect. I know it sounds dumb, but it sounds like a Cody thing where if it's too tight, I
might
could see
be,
him
or
giving
it's
like
just like it's just easier to put on and take out. Like you don't want to be
yes,
doing your entrance and he's like stuck trying to pull it off or something.
yeah,
yeah, or if it gets too loose, then it's wait, I don't know, but
Yeah.
like I like the entrance, and then just going from there, like the match itself, it was fine. It was serviceable, but it was fine. And then you had again your interference spots. I'm not sure what the deal was with Randy and his just like, oh, I'm here from a Randy spot, but you know he did his thing, and but that Roman spot at the end was just. It was great. And then Roman and Cody staring each other down before
Oh,
Cody
yeah.
goes for it. It was just like, all right, so what just happened? Like, I know you're not here for you and I still have beef. So it was an acknowledgement of you did this, but we ain't on the same page. We just had a mutual
I think whenever
problem.
you get the third Cody Roman match, it'll be like no stipulation, just like one-on-one, like that's
Yes.
your wrestling match.
which it should be because they like up until the ending, still wrong guy won. To me, Cody and Roman 39 was going up to be one of, if not the best main events. I still think it's one of. I'll take that back. I was gonna make an argument for being the best.
When I watched that, I still really like. I think it's an amazing.
They
match.
got good chemistry, and it's a really well placed match. And that's something where, for me, I love that. I love that when Solo got pinned, Roman looked like not sad, but just kind of like he had to do that. Like he wasn't like he was still happy to screw him over, but not in the way of like, yeah, I'm so excited. Like it was like a still he's her and the family bloodline in a way, but it's like, well, to show you who the
like
OTC
I'm proving
is.
a point.
Yeah,
I'm proving
so-
a point.
I like that, and I also like Roman shot Cody a couple of those fucking classic Roman looks where he did the like, where it's the thing where it's like it looks approval, but also looks very sarcastic in a way where it's like, is he like, oh yeah, you're the champ, or yeah, you're the champ for now, like you're not me. So that's why I like Roman does these facials where it's like they're kind of jokey in a positive way, and it's like, okay, what's this guy cooking up right now, right?
So
And
that
that's
was funny. It's like in the My Rise storyline for this year's like WWE game. This is like it's similar to what happens in that game because in that game the story is like after like the story is Roman beats Cody at WrestleMania.
yeah, no one can
again.
beat him. Yeah.
And then he just vacates the title. So they do like a tournament for the title at SummerSlam, and then like Roman just returns and spears Cody, and then like your player character pins him and wins.
So
And
they
Roman
have
the whole time is telling you like I made you champion, and like you wouldn't be
Yeah.
champion without me.
So in the game, that's funny. They have Cody lose at WrestleMania, but then he wins the title at SummerSlam. So it's like
No,
literally.
he doesn't win. Like
Oh,
he has the
okay.
title match against your player at
Oh,
SummerSlam,
I see.
And then Roman returns and spears him, and then you win the and like in this story, you're like a nobody. So like you somehow get to the end of this tournament, and then Roman spears Cody, and you pin him, and you become the champion.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's the only critique I have. I wish Solo and Cody were both on their feet when Roman got in that ring, and I wish it was like he looked at Cody and then did a cock to the left and then did it, because I would have loved just a small tease of maybe he is gonna give it to his family, and he is done. But it was Roman was like he had to get out of there quick. He ran there and first thing he caught that fist. And he like he didn't
He
even.
acted like while he was sliding into the ring.
It's
Yeah.
like he had a flight to catch, and it was so funny where he was in there, in and out very quick. He didn't even do a press or anything, but yeah, that's what I'll ask you guys. When do you think we will get Cody and Roman? 3, obviously.
I don't think before WrestleMania.
No, I don't think so either.
No,
I think some point next year.
I think
Yeah.
it's definitely
Like,
going to be
by the
after
end,
WrestleMania.
By the end of next year.
By the end of next
You
year.
have a match. I don't know when. Whenever. I mean, if you're doing maybe next SummerSlam.
Mhm.
It depends where that is, because that could also be another Like if Elimination Chamber's not the London one, I could see them doing like the SummerSlam in Wembley that people have been theorizing could happen. So maybe there. I think a full year from now at the minimum.
I
don't think they're-
agree. I think it has to be further than when it actually happens. I think I have a hot take of maybe never do it. That's my hot take of leave them just tied forever because I think it's like unless it's Roman being
Get the
done.
Roman Cody tag run.
That's gonna happen. I can't wait for the 2-man power trip and everything. Like that's gonna. But like, I just think I think it's tough either way for both guys to win because I don't know if Roman wants Cody to have like the trilogy one, but I also don't think Cody should be losing because I think Cody's going to be around longer than Roman, and I feel like I'm actually saying this won't happen for at least 2 years, the minimum of it happens. That's my opinion. I think Roman's getting busy with the bloodline. I still, at some point, want CM Punk to turn heel, and we fucking need Roman and a Punk. Like that, like, we need that. We still need Roman and a Rock. Like, I think there's at least 2 years worth, and Roman's not back full time, right? He's going to be back for a bit, then take another break. So it's like,
Yeah.
We'll see if he even shows up at SmackDown this week.
I don't think so. I don't think so. David, what about you? When do you think we're getting this?
I think it's going to be a year from now. I think it's going to be next SummerSlam. I think
Next SummerSlam, okay.
I think Cody's going to hold that belt for at least a year. So you can't do it at WrestleMania. He's got to face The Rock, and he's got to beat The Rock at WrestleMania next year.
Which one? Cody or Roman? You can make a case for them both, right?
Yeah, so no, it's going to be Cody Rock at WrestleMania.
Can I hold it for a little bit? Let me hold it.
So, and then you have them go from there. Well, I say that not knowing what Rock's schedule and
Right.
what C-level movie he's going to be putting out around that time.
Oh, whoa, sea level. Oh my God.
Let's keep her. And I absolutely love The Rock, and I have no problem with The Rock's acting. But The Rock is very much, I make a good movie that everyone likes, and I ride the high off of that, and then I make 3 very not good movies. But everyone
He's
still
going for
loves
an
me
Oscar.
from this one.
Jumanji 3, that's what the people want.
Yeah. Jumanji 4, technically.
Yeah.
Don't forget us, Bob. Technically 4.
New Manji 3.
Yeah, new Jumanji 3. Yeah, starring him and Roman Reigns.
So, he's going to, depends on if he's putting out a new Fast and Furious when that's coming out, then
Right, I forgot.
is if we see him or not. So that's going to be the kicker with that.
Well, it's weird, isn't? Well, this is like a movie podcast, but isn't like he not even in the new Fast, and they're just doing another Hobbs movie? Like it's super weird stuff.
Because the whole Vin Diesel thing.
No, he was at the end of the last one. He was in
No,
the
I know, but
credits.
I think after that they announced a Hobbs movie,
Yeah, there was gonna be a movie. Like it was gonna be like
like a bridge movie, right?
Yeah,
in
like
between
that and but then I don't even know.
But I don't think they
any of
ever
these are
confirmed him to be back in
happening.
Fast. He was back in the Fast family, but I don't know if they ever confirmed him to be. And I think Fast is shooting soon. We'll get our answers, but
Is this going to be one
They
of those
had
things where they
announced,
never
like, a-
technically share a scene together?
absolutely, yeah. Well,
They
he's going for that
didn't-
Oscar
yeah.
next year, so
Oh yeah, A24.
smashing machine, man.
Rock.
So I'll ask you guys this: let's say if The Rock can't do Mania this year, is there a chance they could do Roman and Cody again 3 years in a row? Because to me, if there's no Cody's fine, they can do the Randy story. I think they could do the Cena story. There's multiple stories you could do with Cody at WrestleMania. If Roman's not there? Even if it is Cody and Rock, what is Roman doing at Mania? They can't do him in Soul at Mania. That's way too drawn out. So I just don't even know what they do. That's why I've always been the camp of you do Rock and Roman, and Cody can do Cena or Randy. So it's like if there's no Rock, and let's say that's the plan for Cody, could we get Roman this year and Cody? I don't think so, but I wonder if that's the break glass, like,
Yeah,
you know?
possibility.
Yeah,
You have
Rock
like
can't do it.
Undertaker, you have like the scoreboard on the Titantron, like 1-1.
yeah,
The whole time.
yeah, 100%, yeah. And that would be a history. No one's done 3 main events in a row. That would be a history maker. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to do third in a lifetime.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Bull
if it
rope match.
A bull rope match. Oh man.
if it comes to that, I could see them pulling the trigger if they don't have anything locked and loaded and
Yeah.
ready to go. Yes, would I prefer to see Rock Roman at WrestleMania? Hell yes. I think that that would be a much deeper story than Rock versus Cody. Like
That's just a dick measuring contest, which is fine.
Yeah,
Wrestling's
I'm not-
based on that, but
I'm not invested in them together at all. It
yeah,
like
I
at
am.
all.
But for like, I've always said if Rock doesn't want to do them, but like SummerSlam, Rumble, Survivor Series, like I think Cody and Rock should happen. But if it's like if you only have one, I think it's Rock and Roman. Like if that's the option, right? And that's a big match for Roman at Mania, where Cody has like 3 to 4 options you can do with him at Mania. You know, you could even fucking turn Punk heel and do AEW main event. Do Cody versus Punk like that. Cody versus Punk would sell. That'd be huge.
That would.
That's like there's so many. And I wonder. I guess that's could be. Could you do Punk and Roman at Mania? I guess that's always an option too, right? Like if they do Seth and
Punk with Heyman against Roman.
or it's like a Paul on the pole match where it's like who does he go with? Because that would be
Someone had a sign that was like Judy Bagwell approves. At
Yes.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, she was on a pole once, and because that's been the thing. Paul's always like swapped, and then the new person shows up. Imagine if you have it where Paul's still friendly with both of them, and it's not even that you have to. I guess you actually could do the Punk heel turn of Paul screwing over Roman and all. Like there is some.
If they
there's
do
some
that,
money there.
I want Paul Heyman to walk out with Roman, but I want CM Punk to come out with his "I'm a Paul Heyman guy" T-shirt on.
Oh yeah, and then he leaves with Paul Heyman. He walks out with Roman, but then he leaves with Punk. Like
recreating Rhea versus Liv with
absolutely
Heyman
with
and Punk.
Heyman. Yeah, we're just swapping it, but like it can work because that's the thing. If they feel that they go, okay, we can't draw out Seth and Punk till Mania. Like let's say, okay, well, it's just too long. We want to do it before then. I could see them doing Seth and Punk somewhere, and then they can do Roman and Punk at the Rumble. I really do, or so at Mania if they're not doing, because Roman needs a big match, and I don't know if it's not Rock and not Cody. I really don't know what the play is for Roman to have a match.
The only other play is if you do him versus Seth.
Yeah, they've always pitched that, right? Of that's what we'll get. We'll get Gunther versus Seth versus Roman. We'll get a Shield triple threat with Gunther included. But no, you could do him and Seth. They've always won that. Seth's always wanted that to be the main, which I don't know if it would be. I don't know if it has the chutzpah for it, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It really does depend on The Rock. I feel he's going to, like last year, he's the piece, and then we go from there. So
I just don't feel that, even with the documentary and everything else, I don't feel like Rock and Cody have a strong enough story for Mania. Like I'm just not.
You're gonna have those
You can
Cody
build
haters
it-
now.
You
They're-
can build it very just like how
You
they
could.
built the Rock. Like
Yeah.
they built
Like,
it since in
Mama
how many
Rhodes.
months? Like
They
in a
never
few
did the Mama
months they
Rhodes
built it.
payoff, right? We never got her slapping The Rock. Like that's a WrestleMania moment right there for sure. Like I agree with that, but you can build it up. They can have final boss Rock come back and it be Cody. And plus, like if Cody's the
Number
guy, because if Cody doesn't main event WrestleMania with that title and Rock and Roman do, all the detractors for Cody are gonna be like, see, he's not really the guy. He's it's like Cena and Punk. He's not the guy. And that's the tough thing, right? So it's like, that's the thing. Cody does have to main event one night. So if that's the thing, I need him to verse
I think
Rock.
Rock, honestly, like they could main it. Like his big return match was on night one.
Still the main event though, right? And
I
then
mean,
where
yeah, but
where
that's
was
what
he
I'm
night
saying,
two?
like, yeah.
He was in the main event again.
Yeah.
My boy now, same thing. He was like when he came back in versus Punk, the Rumble had to be like first match because like Punk and Rock had to be the main event, which it wasn't like Roman and Sammy years ago where it's like that moment. So, it's tough. I don't know if you do like I wonder if a triple threat is even possible. I don't know if I love that with Rock, Cody, and Roman, but like I could see them going that route to be like, we can't decide on one. let's just do, because that was what everyone thought was going to happen this year, right? When The Rock came back,
That
it's like,
was
they're just going to do a
like-
triple threat.
Triple threat at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
right. When everyone thought Rock was going to work the Aussie crowd, yeah, like I could see a scenario where we get that triple threat because they just feel like this makes everyone happy. If Rock only has a couple matches, I don't know. I don't want that really. I want that for Seth, Drew, and Punk eventually, but I don't need that with these three. So
What I could see realistically happening is if Seth isn't holding the World Heavyweight title at this point, which I don't think he will, then I could see Cody and Punk being night 1 and Roman and Rock being night 2.
oh god,
Do I think
I would swap it. That's risky. That's a risky.
the reason I say that is because of The Rock. I think that if The Rock's not going to be in the title match, he's going to want a main event night 2.
Yeah, which is the real main event though, and I
Yes.
feel like Cody's gonna have his druthers. We're gonna see sad face Cody when he has to promote that he's on night 1. You know it, and he's gonna be pitching why that's should be the biggest match of the weekend. But everyone's gonna know, oh,
Yeah.
you're not on night 2, Cody. you
Setting
know?
the tone, follow that, all, that he's going to do all of that stuff. But I just knowing how The Rock has been and everything else, I could see him pulling a thing where if he's not in the title match, then he's main event in night 2.
I'm gonna have faith that Triple H loves Cody Rhodes so much, and that's his quarterback, as Cody Rhodes says, that he's gonna piss off the
He
Rock.
had it on his jacket.
He did. He had a fucking QB logo on his jacket. He's gonna piss off the Rock, and he's gonna put Rock on night 1. That is what I hope Triple H sticks to his guns, because I am somebody that other than a retirement match or Taker streak, to me the title, whether it's men or women, one of them should be going last. Especially Cody is the guy, because like I said, we grew up in the era where Punk had the title, he was the guy, but John Cena main event every pay-per-view. And I was like, well, Punk's definitely not the guy. And that's where I want, if Cody's the guy, he has the title, he has to go on last. So either Rock has to verse Cody or he has to take night 1. That's what I'd be saying. Now, he's a fucking member of the board, so I'm sure that conversation doesn't go exactly how I just portrayed it, but that's, to me, what I want, and I hope Rock would be like, well, I don't want to piss off the people, so that's my hope. So WrestleMania season is gonna be very interesting. So
Yeah.
and then lastly, we didn't talk about you brought up hopefully Jacob Fatu is all right. He's wearing that boot, which was weird because like he was hurt, so I thought the ankle was just hurt, so he couldn't get in the ring. So that was my only hope, because like if anything, he would just lay there. Like why wouldn't he attack Roman? Like why wouldn't he go out and get him? But yeah, so I hope he's not too hurt, because if he is hurt, man, they just won the team titles on Friday. His replacement would be Tama Tonga, who, as we talked about, is not having a good run of moments here in WWE.
And they keep reminding you that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are nice as both
I'm
are
going to change my background. I clicked to sign in and the thing like broke.
I saw.
That's the background I
We were just
wanted.
talking about Jacob Fatu right now to end off.
yeah,
here.
but they keep bringing up that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are former tag team champions, and then he goes and misses another spot. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, poor guy.
So they could replace it. I will say again, tag team title being a mess. Finn and JD, whatever. That's just like Judgment Day again. And now DIY 29-day run. You fucking kidding me, man? Like, man, like what? I just wish they didn't get it then and just save it for the Bloodline. Like, I guess it's something. I am still fine with short reigns, but that just was too short. It was just like, I don't know. So I hope Jacob's fine, because I know they got Hikuleo. I know they got Tonga, but it's just, I don't know. I agree with people that it's not going to kill in the water, but that will really hurt the Bloodline if he's like out for an extended amount of time like that, because everyone's just excited about Jacob. He's great in the ring, and I think if he's let's say for some reason he can't do War Games at Survivor Series, that's a huge loss, and they need, I don't know what they need. Then they really need to place a call to Dwayne and be like, how much money do we get you to do a steel cage match for 10 minutes? Like, because I just like, I feel like, again, that to me is something that's interesting of what is the Rock feel with this Bloodline thing, because he acknowledged Roman, right? So I hope when he comes back, the setup is he is pretending he still acknowledges Roman, but really it's going to be, well, I don't actually want to see the Rock acknowledge Solo. I think it should be that he, like as I've said before, he should be the 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 tribal chief for like a couple months, and then I don't know what happens, but yeah, we'll see. Jacob's in a boot. Let's hope nothing too bad happens to him. So yeah, anything else to say before we close out this episode?
I have the draft here.
Right. Yeah. So before SBubs goes in the draft, so what is that? The Bash Berlin's the 31st. That'll probably be the next episode. I wanted to do something for All In, but I'm away the weekend of. I think I'll watch, but I'm not around. So we'll see. We'll probably just cover all. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover Bash and All In at the same show. So that'll probably be that episode where it will just be kind of a double review and any kind of other news and everything like that. Or if it doesn't work out, maybe it'll be like an all-in review with a Bash prediction. So I'd say expect the next Gimmick episode to be somewhere between like the August 25th and the first week in September. We'll figure that out. But I was kind of hoping they were the same weekend because that would have been great. But so that'll be the next one sometime in September. And then WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view till like October, right? Bad Blood. So they're gone for a little bit. So which also, yes.
Yeah, because they usually have one like in September. So I guess they have one at the very start of August and one at the very end of August instead of like middle of August and middle of September.
Yeah, and this was pretty early for
and Bad Blood is like at the start of October, I think like the 5th or something. So
yeah,
it's probably the same amount of time between them. Just looks like more.
This was and this was like an earlier SummerSlam, it felt like. And then, so then All Out, they have September 7th and then October 12th. So, of course, they got that. And when's Bad Blood again, sorry?
I think the 5th.
The 5th? Okay, so kind of some good in the middle there. So, but like I said, end of August, beginning of September, that'll be the next episode for this. So, S-Bubs, how are we sitting in the draft here? Lots of title changes, so.
Yeah, no. I'm actually happy, despite me losing a lot of my champions. My problem for why I wasn't getting points is because I had champions who just wouldn't have matches.
Yeah.
So now I'm excited, like, I'm okay with losing the points now, because now they're actually going to wrestle and get me points.
Yes,
instead of just, like, cutting promos every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start with Travis, because he's the most points here.
Okay.
We were at 299 points. With this week, including SummerSlam, you had 33 points.
Nice.
With 2 title wins and 1 defense there.
Because it was, who do I got here? Because I got...
You had Braun Breaker and...
Liv.
Nia.
Give me those points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. And I got Nia now too. Right. I forgot about that. Right. Okay. I gotta get an updated graphic here soon.
I forgot you had Solo. I just added that one too.
Good. Yeah. I need those main event bonus points. So okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so for bonus points, then you would have had 115.
Okay.
And then 4 points total for Elton Prince there.
Good. Thanks, Elton.
And then me, I have 254 points. And yeah, I lost. Bailey lost her title. Sammy lost the title. Johnny lost the title.
Tough 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And so for my bonus points, I have 225 bonus points. And then I have 8 points total for Tozawa. He's back.
He's back to losing. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And then David has 182 points for Gunther winning the title, but then Damian lost the title.
Yeah.
But then Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu won the titles, but on SmackDown, so it wasn't double points. And then LA Knight won the title as well, and that one was double points.
You should, yeah, because you're so for the regular points as well. You're 250. I'm 290. What was it?
299.
290. Okay, so Dave. Yeah, I feel like David, you're gonna start catching up with Gunther and LA Knight. I feel like they're gonna start getting you.
I'm hoping. I need Uncle Howdy though to actually see some in-ring
You're
action.
at 120 bonus points with 7 points for Xavier Woods.
Nice.
He won 1 match, so -1 for winning.
Keep on getting beat down.
Well, and of course on Raw, it seems like Uncle Howdy's not wrestling right now, so that's kind of it's the other people. So I wonder, because remember with early Bray Wyatt, he didn't wrestle for a while. It was always Harper and Rowan. So I wonder what's going to happen there. So. Yeah, well, thank you for updating the draft there, S-Bub. So, yeah, we will be back. Week 18. Okay, week 18. So we're almost in the 20-week mark. So, well, I'm glad we could do this right after SummerSlam. So, yeah, like I said, next time we do this, it'll be probably after All In and then either right before Bash of Berlin or right after. And we'll talk about those two shows and see what else is going on in the month. And, yes, thank you guys for joining as always. This is a good one. We'll see what happens. We get closer to the fall. And then just before you know it, it's going to be like winter and then we're going to WrestleMania season. So it's going to be interesting to be on the show while we got that going on. So until next time, it will not be boring.